You could be pre-diabesity.
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Thursday, August 1st, 2013. Time for your Gitmo Nation Media Assassination episode 535.
This is No Agenda.
Oh, yeah. 4 stories above the secondhand bookstore in the heart of Amsterdam, Gitmo Nation Lowlands. In the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where I say covert video, Intuso, Root, lockpicking, Beyond Hope, C-Systems, Password, 2600 Magazine, and competitor, I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Crackpot and Buzzkill in the morning.
Well, you want to make sure the show is backed up by the NSA?
Exactly.
Well, that should work just fine.
We need more listeners.
Hello, National Security Agency.
So I'm looking at the list of keywords that triggers the machines.
Yeah.
And on this list is some of the stupidest crap I've ever seen. Steve Case's name. If you say Steve Case.
Wait a minute. What list? Is this the list we've done like 20 times on the show, or is this a new list?
No, this is a new list. This is the list from the Prism.
Oh, okay. Well, wait a minute. Didn't we have that list like 2 months ago?
Not this one.
No, I've never seen. I don't remember Steve Case.
Bubba the Love Sponge.
No, you're kidding me.
Texas Jihad.
Wait, back up.
Blackbird.
Wait, back up.
Plutonium.
No. You're telling me Bubba the Love Sponge is a keyword for the NSA? Bull crap.
William Gates.
Okay. All right.
I'm telling you. It's totally there.
I don't believe it.
Here's the one that gets me. Let me just, I'm not going to, we can put this in the show notes if you want. This is from Business Insider. The validity of this who knows what.
Oh, Business Insider. I say, wait a minute. That's that web publication that tries to sound like Business Week, but they're not really? Yeah. Okay.
So here's the one that got my attention more than the crazy ones. Like, some of them are just dumb. Like Finks. I don't believe this. MI-17.
What is that?
That's what I want to know.
MI-17. This is like an MI6 to the N power.
I have no idea what this is, but MI-17. I don't know. We have to look into it.
Oh. Well. Here we are, John. I was just going to give you a little backgrounder where I am for those of you wondering. Yes,
you are in.
I am.
Wait, let me just. You're in Amsterdam in another B&B.
Yes, another Airbnb, absolutely. So this time we are now 4 stories above ground level, which is always fun carrying the suitcases up because, of course, there's no elevators.
No elevator.
And these Amsterdam houses, the staircases pretty much go straight up. This is not like it's quite an angle of attack.
Right, they would be illegal in the United States.
Yeah, oh yeah, not up to code. Let's put it that way. And a heat wave has hit Europe. We've been here during the heat wave. In fact, a headline just the other day said that due to global warming, its latest victim is the prostitution industry. And of course, now it has everyone's attention. And I'm not kidding. This was a headline. It's because of the heat, global warming heat. No one's going out to visit the red light district. It's just too hot. No one can be bothered. And so that's one way of selling it. I think that's pretty good. No, I'm sure that they're doing poorly. But obviously,
I'm sure that they could be. Well, yeah, if you're so hot you can't get out of the house.
But I'm sure you saw it was it USA Today, I think, yesterday. Scientists now predicting 1,400 cities will be underwater by 2100. And I'm disappointed because I moved to Austin specifically for beachfront property, but I don't want to have to wait 90 years. I want it to hurry up a little bit. It's going to be great there.
Well, they've already melted the ice cap, and according to the Rolling Stone magazine, Greenland is melting, and that's what's going to do it. So it should be faster than that.
Okay. Well, hopefully. I don't want to wait too long.
So I'm...
what's been going on, John? First of all, we were off for 2 weeks. We had 2 special shows. I want to thank Ramsey Kane once again for putting together what I thought was a really good clip show.
People loved it.
Yeah, people loved it. It had an interesting depth to it. I listened to it. I'm sure you listened to it as well, John. Well, actually, you did a lot of the post-production, so I know you listened to it. It was kind of fun listening to it on the flight down to Nice from Amsterdam after we arrived. And then the show after that was our interview show, which also a lot of people liked. And it's really interesting because a lot of people like these two shows, but we didn't get a lot of donations. It's just like, how does that work?
Nothing. We got virtually nothing in the $50 range, which was weird because the people who get mentioned, they figure they're not going to get mentioned. So apparently mentioning them is important.
Wait a minute, you're telling me that this value for value thing is really the value is getting mentioned?
I'm guessing there's a lot of that going on, yes.
Okay, well.
No mentions? Forget it.
It was kind of fun. We went down to the south of France first to hang out with the elites. And, I got to tell you, it's been a while since I've partied with the rich. There was no one famous there, but with the rich. And this was my friend Michelle's house. Now, Michelle is he's in the live entertainment business, is how I like to put it. He has a number of clubs in the UK, and I've known him for a number of years. He's a really good guy. He's totally one of my gangster friends, and he's a good guy to have as a friend. And not only just because he has this great house in the south of France, right there, kind of Saint Raphael, which is between Cannes and Saint-Tropez. And what he does every summer is he invites all kinds of interesting people to come and stay. He's got one of those huge swimming pools. I mean, the one that's like beyond Olympic size, and it has salt water in it. And he has this thing heated to, I think, 85 degrees. It's like you jump in the pool, it's like, what is this? Because he likes to be in it all day long. And everyone's in the pool just drinking alcohol. It starts at like 11 o'clock. And, just talking and, drinking. And then, it's like, okay, let's sleep a little bit. And then we'll get up and then we'll drive to Saint-Tropez and we'll go have dinner. And it was really fascinating to listen to what if you look at the elites, there's really, what is it? I think there's two kind of people who have a lot of money these days, outside of actual royalty. People who are in infrastructure, like building or, like live entertainment, and people who are in banking. Would you agree that's pretty much the people who have all the cash?
Well, there's a lot of tech guys that are worth billions. I think they don't qualify in either one of those. Right.
And when we did see one, I think it was a tech guy. I'm not quite sure who it was. There's this very famous bar called Nikki Beach, Nikki Beach. And that's in Saint-Tropez.
Yeah, that's a very famous beach where a lot of the Russians go.
Oh, dude. It's not just there's only two kinds of people who are vacationing now in the south of France. Russians and Chiners. And the Chiners, this is a problem. Because I remember living in Amsterdam when the Japanese were basically, it was just all Japanese tourists. This was the late 70s. Actually, mid-70s, I'd say, all the way through the mid-80s. It was just all Japanese tourists coming through. Anyone who grew up in the Netherlands in that time will remember. But the Japanese, they have this real nice politeness about them. In fact, overly polite. The Chinese, not at all. They're rude. They're seriously rude. They just walk in front of you. They don't give a crap. They bump. They're taller than the Japanese, is my general feeling. And they're just walking into you, and they don't care, and they're loud and annoying. They cut in line.
They cut in line.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're line cutters.
China are line cutters.
And then if you call them out on it, they can't speak English.
Yeah, then all of a sudden they don't know what's going on. Like I don't understand.
Oh, what?
What?
This used to be a horrible problem at the Beijing airport.
So anyway, the friends that we have in the elite circles are more in the infrastructure, not in finance, and they're on the phone. You can tell that the world is in crisis mode because the number one thing for these guys is cash flow. They need cash flow. They need stuff coming in through their hotels or whatever. And if they don't have the cash flow, you can tell that they're really, really tight somehow on the cash flow. And it's sad. They're on vacation. And they're in the pool, we'll be chatting. It's like, there goes a BlackBerry, hold on a second. And then it's like, there's like 15 minutes of talking and yelling and whatever. And like,
The Doesn't seem like much of a vacation.
Well, it was. To me, it was entertaining. I mean, come on. When do you get an opportunity to spy on this?
Well, let's cut to the chase and tell us what you've learned.
Okay. First of all, they actually believe all the stuff that's in the newspapers. I mean, like, really? I was amazed. I was like, what? Let me just say, day one we arrive. It's like, kind of the afternoon, like, hanging out, and then the next morning we wake up, and it is nice, on the big terrace there, overlooking the pool, overlooking the ocean, a big French breakfast with, the maid making crepes, and, you've got baguettes and cheese, and it's just like, And I'm like, oh, I have arrived. And then after breakfast, like, where is everybody? They're inside watching a door on television. Like, what are you doing? Oh, we're expecting the baby to come out any minute. Dude, they sat watching this door on the BBC.
They were watching for the royal baby.
Yes,
and they were riveted to the television set.
And I couldn't say, John, I couldn't say a single bad word. They said, look, we don't care what you say about anything, but you're not going to make jokes about the royal family and the baby. Like, okay. It was really weird. The complete royalists.
It's all a bunch of Brits? Is that the deal?
Yeah. Well, actually, the ambassador to Barbados, which of course is a British protectorate, he's there. Right. So, this is all really important to them. And then,
it's so important.
Oh, yes, it was really important. And then it was the name. Oh, what's the name going to be? And we had bets on the name. And I was like, well, no, it can't be called James because that would be Diana's, or Kate's brother. Oh, I'm sorry, not Kate. Catherine. It just went on and on. And I could say anything I wanted about anything. Well, actually, no. There's a couple things I couldn't say. And this is what it came down to. Because I met these people 7 years ago, the Barbados people. I remember the guy at the time was reading Dreams of My Father or Audacity of Hope, one of the Obama books. And I said at the time, it's great, but this guy's going to make no difference. It's going to be business as usual. You watch. And he was very skeptical, and he's from Barbados, so he's black, which made it all a little bit, cooler and weirder at the same time. So now I see him 7 years later, and I'm like, hello, what did I tell you? And you know what he says? Oh, well, look at what he was left with, the legacy of the Bush. I'm like, are you kidding me?
It's all George Bush's fault.
Are you kidding me? This is year 5, and when is he going to do something for himself? Yeah, but it really was shambles, and it really wasn't fair. I'm like, okay. And then, John, the gun argument. Oh, my God. Oh, my.
The Europeans are all that way with guns.
But it's as if you're like I can say aliens are coming down, the moon landing was bogus, but you say, hey, the whole thing with guns, it kind of works. It's like their minds literally, they turn to mush and they get angry. Like, how many murders do we have from guns in the UK? None! I'm like, well, no, you still have 50 or something. No, it's not true. So, okay. I'm on vacation, man. I don't want to argue. I really don't. But it was, wow. I was really, really blown away by how, what is the word? I mean, just
slaves, rich slaves.
But it's funny because they really buy into everything. And you're reading the Daily Mail. Hello, it's the Daily Mail. Don't you know anything? And this is their Bible. I can't. I don't understand how they can make so much money. No,
they got lucky.
They got lucky. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. It's like I found this clip as I was prepping for today's show. This is. Star Jones, who is, I think she's still a celebrity here in America, and she was on. In fact, I at one point called him out. I said, "Hey, man, don't go all Piers Morgan on me. We're going to deport that guy eventually. So you really got to stop it with your crazy gun talk." And I come back to some prep for the show, and I get this.
If you're not going to reduce the volume of guns, make ammunition expensive so that every time you point a gun at somebody and you're going to pull that trigger, think, is that life worth $5,000 for a bullet?
Is this woman for real? Does she really think that's ever going to happen, that a bullet is going to cost $5,000? I mean, and this was a Chris Rock joke from 15 years ago, and this is still being used now on so-called news discussion programs. This is insane, Star Jones.
Make the ammunition more expensive. I don't think that's in the Constitution.
I don't think that's in the Constitution.
Well, in Britain, we saw a dramatic reduction in all fire offences when we made it a mandatory 5-year jail sentence if you were caught with a handgun. It works.
It works. You know, and then
works.
You bring
douchebags like me are in the USA now.
And then you bring up the knife thing. And they're like, yeah, but, knives are illegal. And people are getting maimed with knives every single day. It's thousands. You can't talk any sense into them. You can't do it. Anyway, so on that part of our trip south of France, the only thing I will point out is that all the Russians who really have money are now off to Sardinia. Saint-Tropez is out. That's for your little boats. If you want to hang out with the big boys, you go to Sardinia.
Well, this is something new. I didn't know this.
Yeah, no, I didn't know either. But that is so. What have we learned? Rich people
go to Sardinia and hang out with the Ruskies. Lots of free champagne.
Oh yeah. So the Nikki Beach, and I think it was an American guy. So this beach it's not a beach; it's a club. And they got music and they got a swimming pool, and you sit around the swimming pool. And typically, really fat Russian guys will buy these magnums of either champagne or rosé. Then they have the waiters, they'll slice off the top, the cork with a sword. And then these Russians will either pour it on their women or spray it. It's insane. And then they have this new thing now, and this is what the douchebag American did. I have no idea. He looked like a typical Silicon Valley a-hole. And he ordered 36 bottles of champagne, because that's the order that it is. So these 36 bottles show up, and all your friends, sit at one end of the pool, and then everyone gets a bottle, and you open it up, and you spray each other with it. Yay! And I'm just sitting there watching this spectacle. And each bottle has got to be a couple $100. And it's just like, you're such a-holes. And then you jump in the pool, and then, it's like... I mean, I'm sure you can see this on, if you YouTube it, you can see videos of this happening. It's like, what is the point? To prove that you have so much money that you can just spray it around, you don't care? Yeah. And this was not a Russian.
This was the equivalent of lighting a cigar with a $100 bill.
Yeah, except it's more. It's like $7,000 bill. And
exactly.
And you can just see all these, and of course the chicks are all hookers, one way or the other. And they'll just, they're, oh, hey, I'm in the party now, too. I mean, we saw so many women just sneaking into being at someone's table, and before you know it, they're off to the boat. It's sad. It's just sad. And I remember I had, yacht kind of money. And I remember how easy it was to, let's go do this. And it makes me physically ill now. Poverty was very good for me. What are you doing?
Oh.
What were you doing?
What? I was tearing.
Dude, don't tear paper, please. Don't
I wasn't
tear
tearing paper. I was tearing off. Never mind. Go on.
All right. So then we went. Then we drove to Florence, and I got to tell you, we were driving we rented a Volkswagen EOS, which is a convertible. Have you ever seen this vehicle?
Yeah, it's around.
It's a turbo diesel, 2-liter. And I did the calculation. I was getting 43 miles to the gallon on this thing.
Yeah, those diesels they have in Europe are amazing. And not only that, I hate to use the word amazing. I did it, though.
It's okay. It's okay.
Is that they have a lot of pep. You wouldn't know the difference between a gas engine and a diesel engine anymore. I didn't
even know it was a diesel engine until... Because I didn't have to get any fuel until our way back. So I rented it at Nice. We drove from Nice to San Rafael, which is about 2 hours, an hour and a half. And we drove around there just a little bit. Then we drove from San Rafael all the way down to south of Florence, where Willow lives. And we were halfway back before I had to get any fuel. I'm like, it's a diesel.
Yeah, it says it on the. You can't.
It says it on the cap. It's like diesel only. I'm like, okay, it's a diesel.
What?
I had no idea. And this thing, it was very peppy.
Very few Americans realize that these diesels there's no difference. You wouldn't tell the difference until you had to fill up the fuel, and it's a much more efficient engine. Too bad in the United States because of some of the more recent EPA requirements, the diesel fuel now costs more than premium.
Oh yeah, well, that's obviously less in at least it was in France and Italy. Your diesel is less than your premium gasoline. The only thing that I didn't like about the cars that had one of those eco systems, so that if you stop and then the engine cuts out.
I hate that.
Oh, and there was no switch that I could find to turn that off. It may have. I know that there
probably was one, but you couldn't find it. I had one of those Volkswagens in Las Vegas during some show I went to, and the damn thing I almost got me killed.
Oh yeah,
because you stop to make a left turn and you're waiting, and the damn engine turns off, and you punch it, nothing happens.
I know. Yeah, no, it started pretty quickly, but still, I was like, nah, this is not great. So I learned how to massage the brake. If you massage the brake pedal, if you push it down a little bit and just depress it and keep that going for a little while, then it won't cut off.
Yeah. Well, that's
yeah, but it's not really a great way of doing business.
No,
so we drove.
I think.
Anyway, so we drove down to south of Florence to Incisa, which is where Willow lives in the Italian hills there with her husband, who is the comedian, actor, producer, etc., and their two children. We stayed at another Airbnb there, which Mickey, I'm pretty sure, will be tweeting about. Outstanding. I think it was €70 a night. It was this castle winery, and just you get it like a whole suite. Just a huge space with separate bathrooms and bedrooms and sitting room and kitchen.
We should put that in our travel guide.
Oh no, we've got a lot of stuff for the travel guide, so that's going to be in there for sure. And then brand new pool. I mean, a huge kind of infinity pool, just beautiful. The guy was really nice. It was enchanting. Just totally enchanting. So we hung out there for a couple days, and of course we were very near to where Willow lives, so we did the whole typical Italian family get together, and then we went into Florence for a couple days and stayed at another Airbnb, which we will not be putting in our travel guide. This was not such an outstanding product. It did, however, have an air conditioning, which was great because we don't have one here, and we were right next to the Duomo, so the big dome, and. It's been a while since I've been in Italy at all, and there's a couple of things some observations that I think are very important. It actually helped me quite a bit understand some things that we even talk about on the show. First of all, internet in Italy, the young people have internet mainly they've got 3G. There's no 4G to speak of, certainly not outside of Rome or even Milan, I guess. I don't know if they have it there, but it's all kind of 3G. In general, people don't trust the internet. The old people definitely don't trust the internet, and everyone likes cash. And you can pay with your credit card almost anywhere in Florence. But I was talking to a lot of people, and they said, "Well, really?" I said, "Why is everything so backwards with the internet here?" Why? And you have to understand that the Italians only 2 years ago do they really have to use bank accounts. It's all been, people keeping cash in boxes and under their mattresses. And, with the whole EU financial crisis, that's when Italy said, okay, now everyone has to have a bank. You can't just go to the post office and get your welfare check. It'll be deposited in your bank. So people now have to have that. And by the way, you can't just be, putting tons of cash in there that isn't, that you don't report on your taxes because they've got money meters, I think is what they call them. They're counting to make sure that whatever you put in is also that you're also paying appropriate tax over. But the internet part, from people I spoke to, is directly attributable to Berlusconi, who was smart. Imagine you're Rupert Murdoch and you control the country, not just the media, which is almost the same thing. And what you're not going to do is you're not going to let some stupid internet take away your business. So Berlusconi just said, "Hey, we're just going to retard this whole country. We're not going to let them really get any access to any super internet because he's got all the TV stations." And that's why Italy is at least 10 years behind. Yeah. And I think they're more like 20 years behind. But at the same
this
time,
would be the same thing if Rupert Murdoch was president of the United States during the Clinton administration.
Exactly.
So he was Clinton.
Exactly.
When the information superhighway was a big deal.
Yeah. Exactly. So that makes a lot of sense. Of course, what sucks is getting anything done on the internet. And people
you can't.
No, and people forget. We enjoy. I've got like 20 megabits, 30 megabits down in Austin, 5 megabits up, and that's just a consumer grade. That's more than I need. But then you want to get something done, and you forget that it is 1-to-1. The economy is literally everything is just slower, and you get less done because of the speed of the internet, and you don't really appreciate it until you're in that situation. In fact, we had this. We were kind of dreaming. In fact, I was dreaming, and I was very stupid because I said it out loud, and Mickey jumped on it, and I was like, we could do a whole year. We could, once our lease is up in Austin, we could just put everything in storage, and we go live, a month here, a month there, a month in Paris, a month in Tokyo. And Mickey's like, yeah, this is great. Let's do it. And then meanwhile, I'm going like, oh my God, what have I just done? Because, it takes me, like a full day to prep this show. It'll take me 3 days if I run into a situation like Italy. You can't live there. You can't get anything done. You really can't. And besides their 21% VAT.
You can if you're running a small cafe in the corner.
Yeah, if you're serving cappuccinos, but you can't be a part of the world system. It really can't be. And it's just, it's a very strange country. I didn't realize that Italy really has only been a full-blown united country for like 150 years or so.
Yeah, it was all these little, you could call them city-states, but there were... And they still have regional dialects to the point where some people can't understand other people. And they have real issues. The northern part of Italy is like, why don't we just draw a line here, kind of like North Korea, South Korea, and just ignore them and cut them off, everything down below. And I can understand why. I mean, they're bringing them down. So they have 21% VAT. They have so you do have free medical care. Willow told me about how that works, the free medical care. She called for, her daughter had something, I think, wrong with her foot. She called in November, and she said, look, I'd like the doctor to look at my daughter's foot. Okay, no problem. We have an opening on the 21st of October. You're talking about almost a year?
Yes.
Well, this probably solves a lot of the problems where the doctors are just being pestered constantly.
Yeah.
Don't worry, it'll heal itself. It's limping around for a year. Oh, that's a shame that it's locked in place. Now you'll be limping around for the rest of your life. You're
sorry.
healthy, though.
We're so sorry. Oh, well. So that's your...
Don't you have private doctors you can go to, though? Bypasses.
Yeah, but no one can afford that. Willow has a really high-paying job. What would be a high-paying job anywhere else in Europe? She makes really, really shit money compared to what you would make in the Netherlands or London. But the prices are the same. Everything's expensive. You can see how the European Union has screwed a lot of these southern countries, and I'll just say Italy in this case. Certainly, the southern part of Italy is like a southern country. It's poor. People are piss poor, and so we're in Florence. Florence is pissing me off. All of their statues that they have outside as you're walking around, they're all replicas. The real statues are all in the museum. So you got
the same in Venice. They have a lot of these replicas, like those horses.
Yeah, well, I mean, the whole city is filled with statues, but it turns out that these are all replicas. And of course, you've got a million Chinese running around and Russians, but obviously the Chinese and a lot of Dutch too, I'll say. And they're all running around. They're standing in front of the replica statues, taking their picture. I'm like, this is insane. This is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. It's like Disneyland, except all the staff is grumpy. That's what Florence is. It's fake. The whole thing is fake.
Fake.
It is. It's fake. Now, of course, we did go to the Accademia Museum. We went to the Uffizi, whatever it's called, where the Botticellis are, and it was very interesting. And this is what I really learned on this trip. So, of course, this Florence, and particularly this church, this cathedral, took 140 years to build, and it was built for what was the name of the family? Medici? Yeah, the
Medicis.
Yeah, the Medici. Well, the Medicis, as they call it there. The Medicis.
Yeah.
And so you go to the museum and you see all of the paintings of the family, and it's all been commissioned, and everyone has a little halo over their head. Not because they were from heaven, but these were like the celebrities of their day. Everyone worked for this family, and at one point the Palazzis, I think, who were bankers, tried to kill a couple of them, and they killed one guy. They didn't kill the other guy. And what you see in these paintings is, to me, it's very, and for those of you who believe in God, great, whatever. The way I'm seeing it is these families, they portrayed themselves as holy. They were popes and cardinals, and everything came from God, and they commissioned all the artwork and all the, basically the National Enquirers of the day, which were these paintings of them with little halos looking all, godlike. And they killed everyone who didn't agree with it. And they cut people's heads off, and they, sliced people in half, and they were completely murderous bunch. And you can see this in these paintings.
What's changed?
Well, this is okay. So what changed, I think, because of course also all the royal families and everything came out of this era. We're talking like 1300. This is way before really the. Well, that's not entirely true, but you see how all these families, the Dutch royal family, the other ones around Europe, came from Prussia, came from, of course, we have the Church of England and the British royal family. What changed, I think, is gunpowder. And gunpowder came along and the technology to shoot, and I think that these families went, oh, crap, man, we can't just go slicing everybody's head off anymore. Because, they can build a bomb and blow us up, so we got to trick them some other way. And that's when this whole kind of, we're here for the people and we're pacifying you. And because they had no if I look at these paintings, they had no intention of being nice to people. Shut up, slave. Build my church for 140 years. And I think that gunpowder really changed the rules of the business, and that's when they had to, kind of temper back a little bit. And here we are today with the so-called wealthy. Of course, they're nothing compared to the British royal family or any of the other true royal families who really have the power and the money, and they've been tricked into believing that it's all ceremony, it's just good for the country, and it's good for it's good for the culture, and they've been tricked into believing this.
Who's they?
The people.
Oh,
the citizens.
So let me get this straight. So we started this show at 9:00, and now that 45 minutes of anecdotes has brought us to an anti-monarchy screed.
Yes, and
that's
there you
as far
have it.
as you've gotten. That's what you learned.
This is very important information.
Haven't changed at all. This is bullcrap. Now I'm very disappointed in this travel.
What do you mean? This is very important. We've learned the Chinese. We've learned that the rich people believe in the same bullcrap that the poor people believe in. That the slaves, we've learned
by the
a
way,
lot.
is an eye-opener.
We've learned quite a bit.
You said yourself that they're not really rich. They're just poor people with a lot of money.
There you go. Well, I think we have learned something. And there's a heat wave.
Oh, the heat wave.
And there's a heat wave going on. Yeah.
Let me tell you something. July. So we have this. This is such a classic Bay Area summer. It started like the last day, or I think maybe July 1st or July 2nd it started. The fog rolled in, it became overcast. The sun has not broken out since July 2nd. It is cold, it's windy, it's foggy.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking every day I get up, it's like right now there's no sun. No, there's no sun. It's just there's just a bright spot in the clouds in the overcast. And it's cold and it's miserable. And I'm thinking global warming, wow, really works. This is the way it's been in the Bay Area. This is the classic Bay Area. We haven't had a classic situation like this for a long time. This isn't going to break. It's already August 1st, and we still haven't seen the sun.
I do have a couple of tips for some travel tips. I learned something new. Now, this may not help. No, in fact, this will help only a small portion of our audience. Miss Mickey and I both were at one point, a couple of years ago, gold card members of KLM. And as we learned, going down to Nice, as we always, Mickey's got her attitude and just walk into the premium check-in place, and they say, well, no, I'm sorry, you're not gold anymore, you're ivory. What is ivory? Oh, that's the lowest you can get. Okay, so we're ivory, which means, you can't take...
Screw you from all the money you spent.
Exactly. Now, here's what we learned. That if you go... Okay, I'll tell you how I figured this out and what I think it means. So we're on our way, but we're going to fly back from... So we drive back from Florence up to Nice, and I know our suitcases they're a little bit too heavy, because, now it's not even 50 pounds. It's like 22 kilos. You can't have... a suitcase weighs 5 kilos by itself. You can't carry anything. And the minute you go over, it's 70 euros extra. So, it's a total ripoff, and you know why they're doing it. So we were really early. So why don't we just check in at one of these kiosks, which I typically don't do. I don't know. I just don't do it. I like going to the person, having them check me in. So I go to the kiosk, and identify yourself with a credit card. So I stick in a credit card. He says, okay, Adam Curry, what flight are you on? I'm like, what? I'm flying today. Can't you even? Okay, KLM, 1217, whatever it is. All right. What destination city? It's asking me all this stuff that it should know, and so finally it finds my booking record, and then it says, do you have a frequent flyer number? And I take out the gold card, which is, of course, no longer valid. It even has the date on it is no longer even valid. But I don't have a new petroleum or ivory card or whatever the crap it is. So I stick it in, and immediately goes, ding, 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 you are Sky Priority. I'm like, what? And then I check Mickey in, ding, 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 with her card. She's got her actual physical card. And it says, you're Sky Priority. So I
thought she had an ivory card.
No. We are ivory level, but we never threw out the gold cards. We kept the cards.
You both carried an old dead card on you?
Yes. Well, it's not dead. I think what's happened is these kiosks, for some reason, if you check in a certain order, or maybe not at all, I don't think they're linked to the loyalty program. And then it prints on the ticket, big priority. So we go right into the priority lane, and we get no, your priority, you can go up to 30 kilos, and please enjoy the lounge. I'm like, wow, okay. So we can't wait to try this flying out on KLM. We're going to use the system, see if we can, if it's not connected. I think with,
it may not be connected. This would not surprise me in the least, because they keep changing the systems,
exactly.
Right? They upgrade, and they got to do the data, you say, can we just keep the standalone? Yeah, you can do that.
It's also all the acquisitions, because, Air France bought KLM.
This may be why you had to put all that extra data in.
Yeah, of course. It didn't have it. It didn't have it. So I'm like, okay, these kiosks are lame. This is fantastic. So we're going to try it again when we leave on Tuesday. We're going to try the exact same sequence. First, identify with a credit card, and then so I guess important is that you don't say you don't make the booking with your frequent flyer number, because you have to use the physical card at the kiosk in order for it to work. And I know that
your
the frequent
flyer number changed.
No, it's the same number.
But it's the card itself, you think?
I think it's the card itself, yeah.
So there may be a code on the card.
Something like that, yeah. That is just going, there's a gold card. So anyway, we enjoyed that. We enjoyed our free upgrade. I love it. And then
now there you go. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that's the value of the No Agenda Show. Finally.
Yeah, well, you
can use.
You have to have a gold card from somewhere to start with, which is kind of a bummer.
Well, I keep all my cards.
Yeah, and when I was flying,
I can go digging around. I'll dig up my old United card, the gold card, see if it works in one of the kiosks.
I think I still have my Virgin Atlantic when I was, Richard Branson was sending me bathrobes for Christmas at a certain point. So I'm thinking maybe I can still use that card if I can find it.
It's possible that all these systems are corrupted like that.
But I think they even...
It would make sense, because there's too much... Think of it, those things are standalone. They're sitting out there.
Yep.
They probably are connected to some system, but They can't deal with the big database.
You know what's going to happen now? We're going to get some of our sysadmins calling us or emailing us saying, "Oh,
we need some information."
Oh yeah, no, they're going to say, "Oh yeah, you nailed it. None of that stuff's connected." And of course, totally enjoyed the No Agenda free Wi-Fi. Our producer Wi-Fi at Schiphol Airport. You land, you walk into the terminal, boom, things just working. Love that.
Well, let's thank some producers for sending you on this trip.
Well, first let me say in the morning to you, John C. Dvorak.
Well, in the morning to you, finally, Adam Curry, and also in the morning to all ships at sea, boots on the ground, feet in the air, subs in the water, and all the dames and knights out there.
Yes, and in the morning to everyone in the chat room, all of our human resources who are there lined up, ready to go, depleting their $9.2 million value. Thank you to our artists. NoAgendaArtGenerator.com. On the previous two episodes, 533 and 534, we thank Thorin and Patrick Bausch for their contributions to the best podcast in the universe.
And we want to thank a few people who... Now, these, I'm going to name the executive and associate executive producers, but these are for 3 different separate shows. And we will put the appropriate one on this show, but we want to thank everybody because we had an associate executive both on the previous shows, and Barry Hanna being an example. So let's start with Barry Hanna in Okotoks, Alberta. And, of course, I just noticed that he has a
note?
He has no note, and I don't have a note from him. But if I type in Hannah to the thing, I can find him, and he's not in here. So Barry, if you have something to say, let us know.
Besides that, he obviously likes the show and supports us.
Yeah, he gave us $500. Yeah. So he was an executive producer. John Johnson Jr., 33333 in New York. John, Adam, of course, you guys are on vacation tomorrow for my 33rd birthday, but I'm still compelled to donate for any occasion. Keep up with the great work. Can I get some birthday karma and an Italian shut up slave in honor of the Italian Greyhound?
Yes, of course you can.
You've got karma.
Shut up, slave! Stai zitto, schiavo!
Yeah, it's 2 Italian Greyhounds, actually. Stephen Sevchuk, 33330 in West Orange, New Jersey. No need to read my comment on the show. I'll follow up with an email to you guys, which we'll be glad to read.
Right.
The Iconegro registered nurse, $300 in the United States. And I do have a note right here.
Do you think it's Icon Negro or Iconegro? What do you think?
Could be Iconegro or in Canegro. It's in Canegro.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right.
Please accept this humble tuition offering for the fine continuing education program you've been providing for these past 5 years. Lest the douche-bagging audience members whose protests are offered rationale for the non-payment ever get it twisted, you are getting smarter by the show, mofos, ergo, get with the effing program and ante up, you bitch asses.
Okay, let me just write that down.
Thusly spoken, I laud your chiding of Professor Curry for his attempted legitimatization of the N-word during show 531. The word will forever be a cancer on the American lexicon, and rationalizing its use by Caucasian Americans is akin to legitimating light cigarettes as less carcinogenic on account of their different levels of tar.
And menthol is cool.
And he's requesting the bullshit sound effect right there.
Yeah, okay, no problem.
Bullshit.
Sure.
On an unrelated note, a word to the esteemed No Agenda artists. Would someone please accept the gauntlet AC laid down and create some album art worthy of a cover selection predicated on the 69th minute of the show 531, while including an image of Jen Psaki? If selected, it would be worth $535 to this depraved slave. Not sure what.
Okay. It didn't happen, clearly.
Yeah, no. Lastly, any words about the slave meetup in Texas? By all means, keep us in the know on that, Professor.
Yeah, what's the deal with that? What happened to our No Agenda Texas meetup? Is that off the radar?
It's still on.
Oh, okay.
As far as I can tell.
I'm ready for it. All right.
I would be thrilled to represent the Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, as Sir Incognito after receiving a knighthood from my pending $535 donation. Not that I won't achieve knighthood anyway.
Okay, hold on a second. So the Incognito, I'm guessing, is one of our black producers who was truly offended by my analysis of the Zimmerman trial.
That's my guess. And here's his request.
I like the way he responds to it, though. That's cool.
His request is Sharpton, no conflict. Obama, you can take that to the bank, and douchebag.
Okay, Sharpton, no conflict. Hold on. Obama, take it to the bank, and douchebag?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's no real conflict.
You can take that to the bank.
Douchebag. Yeah, I'm doing this on remote.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm guessing the same thing that you're guessing. He's our black. Yeah.
Wait, you mean here's our token black listener? Is that what you're saying,
He's our
John?
token black listener. We have a bunch of black listeners.
I know we do. We had the ambassador,
Vlasmin Vinky.
the ambassador to Barbados, who will now never invite me to Barbados after this show, was another one of them.
He listened to the show?
Well, of course he's going to listen to the show. He said, well, I want to make sure
he listens to this show.
Yeah, I want to make sure
he listens to a show because, I'm going to be on it.
He's in for somewhat of a disappointment. I'm never going to be invited back.
Vlasmin Vinky in Hulshorst, $250.
Okay, Philippine Vlasman Vinke in Huishorst.
Vlasman Vinke. Oh, so the V's are pronounced as F's.
Kind of in between.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like a VF. The VF.
$250. Colorado Springs. I'm sorry. That's Netherlands. Need producership for job. If I get hired, I'll buy myself a damehood.
Oh, hold on. I'm going to give a little bit of karma for you there.
You've got karma.
Job karma for you, Philippine. Good luck. Okay. Let us know how it turns out.
Eminem or Michael and Melody in Colorado Springs, Colorado. JCD has note, and indeed, I do. Hope this helps, and hope you both, thank you both for all the work you do trying to bring us all the best in the way of the best podcasting universe. Please pre-read and just include what you feel is worth. Oh, sorry.
Good work.
Is Wolf Blitzer
you had three,
Wolf
you had
the name
3
of
weeks.
a character he'll be playing? What?
You had 3 weeks to pre-read the note.
I just came yesterday. I just went and got the checks. It came with a check. I didn't have 3 weeks to read this note. It's for today's show.
Okay.
Topics for your tech show. Got nothing to do with that. Okay. Can the growing of weed be made legal in the other 48 states if we say it's being grown to make ethanol? Karma request. The love is the strongest force, followed by the president's 2 words for you, predator drones.
What is the love is the... I don't know what that one is.
I never heard that either. Love is the strongest force we don't have.
I don't think I have. I don't know. I don't know where
Predator drone one is going to take a little.
No, I got it. I
have 2 words for you. Predator drones.
You've got karma.
Oh, come on, man. I'm still running the best podcast in the universe.
Yeah, remotely, I might add.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Shoemaker, $209.07 in Rancho Cucamonga. Sorry, gents, trying to catch up my monthly Swazzlenuff donations because of my slacker ass. Screw the boners. Karma to my fellow underappreciated sysadmins, and a new job karma for me, please. Carry on, Sir Mike Schumacher, Sir Mike, Rancho Cucamonga, the Paris of Southern California.
And here you go.
You've got karma.
I don't.
Sir Oscar Nadal, $202.02.
Are you practicing for an announcer job with the Queen or something, so everyone knows who's coming along?
I'm working on it. I'm trying to get the big booming voice.
Yeah.
$202.02. Tijuana, Baja. You are very great. 100,000 pesos if you come to Santo Poco. Put on show. Stop the infamous El Guapo.
What's that?
Sir Oscar Nadal, a.k.a. the Romantic Hispanic.
What is El Guapo?
I don't know, but I think it was in that movie, The Three Amigos. There was an El Guapo.
The Three Amigos, that was the biggest bomb ever, wasn't it? No one saw that movie.
It was one of the biggest bombs. Sir Dr. Sharkey in Jackson, Tennessee, $200.33. Can I get some human resource karma for my brother and sister-in-law who are actually gestating their first human resource? Okay, yeah, absolutely. I guess this is Swaziluff karma?
You've got karma.
Actually, non-Swaziluff.
Baby karma.
Baby karma, if they're gestating.
Excuse me.
Are you okay? Do you want to drink a water? Do you want to go do something?
I breathed. That's what I just drank water and got down the wrong pipe.
Okay.
Alphonse Anonymous. Anonymous, 200. And the world's longest note. I sent a previous email regarding this. I'm not sure if you saw it. So I'm donating $200 to make sure you understand you were absolutely correct about the CIA control of Inspire magazine. This link disappeared from a major news site almost as soon as it was posted. Washington Post has got a cited link. Killer quote, although techniques are carefully guarded, officials say U.S. intelligence operatives are monitored the magazine during its production process through the overseas computer networks. Each time an issue is about to hit the internet, officials from the NSA, the CIA, and the Pentagon State Department, the Justice Department debate whether to sabotage it. In cases where threats appear imminent, steps might be taken to disrupt publication. In some cases, cyber spies sabotage files so they can come up blank when a user clicks on them. According to the former official, in one case, the official said the sabotage was not corrected for months. So in other words, CIA has pre-publication control of Inspire before it hits the internet. And two, they intentionally allow the issues with pressure cooker bomb instructions to appear before the Boston attack. How's that for Homeland Security? This is the same flawed intelligence technique that was exposed in the James Risen case, which made news recently when federal appeals court ruled last month that Risen, as a Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist, had to testify in the criminal prosecution of one of his sources, who was the subject of Chapter 9 of Risen's 2006 book, State of War. The chapter revealed how U.S. intelligence had mistakenly given the Iranians plans to build a nuclear weapon. That's funny.
I think we that Washington Post article that is, or the link that he mentions that has disappeared. I think we discussed it on the show at the time.
I think we might have, yeah.
It's probably in the show notes somewhere. We probably have a copy of it, actually.
Robert Montoya, that'd be the thing to take a copy of since they took it down.
Well, we have copies of everything in the show notes. Is a copy
of the government. Yeah, we do a save as, people. Yep. Save as. Yep. Robert Montoya in Pleasant Hill, California, right down the street, needs some job karma.
Okay, let me hit you with that.
You've got karma.
Thank you for your support.
$200. Also, Michael Levin, $200 in Brooklyn, New York. In the morning, John and Adam, thank you both for the excellent analysis. As always, could I please have job karma for my daughter?
Yes, absolutely. College grad.
You've got karma.
And finally, Keith Brown. Keith Brown in Spring, Texas. $200. I welcome back house hunting karma for him.
Absolutely. You got it.
You've got karma.
And those are executive producers for show 534, 535, 3 shows, and they'll be sorted out eventually. And we want to remind people that we do have a show 536 coming up on Sunday, which I assume you'll be doing from Europe.
Yes, that'll be the last show from Europe, and then we travel back on Tuesday, and then we have Wednesday to turn around, and then Thursday. I mean, we basically, if you take into account the amount of effort and you did the work in this case. I mean, yeah, we both did the interviews, and people liked the interviews themselves, but you put it all together. And Ramsey Kane, he put together the 2 pieces of the clip show. So we did actually continue to produce, even though there was a little bit of a kind of a chill, just a bit, but.
We'll work it out.
It didn't make that much difference. It's not like, oh, I'm so rested. How you feeling, John? Gee, that vacation was great.
Yeah,
but also
I didn't get to go to Detroit because it was too damned expensive. I couldn't afford it.
I read today that Chiners are buying up houses left and right in Detroit.
Yeah, they should, because you can get them for nothing. That's
like
a dollar
a house. I'm thinking we should buy us a couple houses. We can buy at least a couple.
But, yeah, they're only $10 and $20.
But yeah, but I think the
There's
problem
one that was up for sale for 3 years for $1.
But don't you have to pay taxes on the property?
Have to pay the back taxes.
Yeah, okay. So it's not really a great deal, is what you're saying?
Well, it's a very depressed price, though.
Yeah.
And the taxes are going down. I don't know.
But if the Chinese
I'd have to go there, but I can't.
Yeah.
I'm not going to spend $1,500 to take a jaunt to Detroit. That's a jip.
Why does it cost $1,500?
That's what it costs, because apparently right now the Detroit hotels are filled to the gills. People are going to Detroit, I guess. Yeah, or something, whatever. I don't know. If somebody can find me a deal, I'll still go. Yeah. But anyway, so. You think Ford or GM would send me there? Come on, here's
no, John.
No, John. Fly the jet out.
No, John, because you know that they give you all these cars, and you never blog about it. You don't do anything. You just drive the car around.
Well, I know a lot about them.
Keep promising, like, oh yeah, I'm going to write this whole book on electric cars.
There's still a couple of cars I got to check out.
They're onto you, man. They're onto you.
I'll start blogging about them now.
Yeah, you should.
Guilting me.
No, but not just blog. You got to. Oh, it's a great car. You got to play the game, buddy.
No, I know how those things are written. Yeah. You couch the criticism. Actually, I can write them any way I want, but
yeah,
I know how the model is. You couch the criticism in funny kinds of terms.
Yeah,
it could be better. Kind of thing.
All right. Thank you all very much.
I wish they do this. I want to thank everybody for helping us on this producership stuff. And make sure you go to Dvorak.org/NA for the Sunday show, which will be, again, a world class connected,
world connected show. And
yes.
and I am sitting here in a non-air conditioned. It's the top floor underneath the roof.
This is always what you were bitching about when you're in the vehicles.
It's the same thing. Yeah, it's the same thing. I said, because you can't, in the Hot Pockets mobile, you can't have the air conditioner on because it's too noisy. And
have you had a tweet up, a meetup, or anything while you're floating around?
No, I was having a vacation. I was trying to and by the way, it doesn't matter where you walk. There's always someone who throws you in the morning. The middle of Florence, Italy, in the morning. That is, I have to say, that's pretty cool.
Really? Just some random person?
Yeah, well, a producer. And no, it happens everywhere I go. Everywhere I go. So, yeah.
We are a world show.
we are a world show. That's right. But of course, in Italy, they're still listening to episode 190. Because it takes so long to download.
They're still downloading the other
They're still downloading the rest. All right, please help us out for our Sunday show. We are continuing to produce and to dissect everything as well as we can. And, you're going to see we got a lot of stuff coming up for you today.
Dvorak.org/NA.
I do want to mention in the show notes you'll see two links. One is under the PR section. Our very own GX2 has created a YouTube music channel, and it's kind of cool because every single one of his videos has backlinks to noagendashow.com, so I wanted to mention that. And of course you can take a look at his videos, and which are all great remixes, a lot of them of the show, great mixes I should say, a lot of them of the show. And then also we have I wanted to mention this, maybe I should do a part of the as a part of the full donation segment as well. Eric the Shill has put together a ring submission site. So if you have not received your ring, your No Agenda Night ring, go to noagendanation.com/rings. Have you seen this, John?
Yeah. The funny thing is, unbeknownst to Eric, I tried this.
And it didn't work?
I tried this for Mimi.
Oh.
And she it's no good. She wouldn't use it.
Wait a minute.
She wouldn't use it.
Is that the actual voice she used on you?
Yes, exactly.
It's no good. And of course, you can always go out and propagate our formula.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
I can only imagine that.
No good. I could do that voice of her. I could do that because it's one of the things. I can make fun of her and say things like that, which is true, by the way. She did say it's no good.
Mm-hmm.
The voice may be a little different. I'm working on it.
Yeah.
But she doesn't listen to the show anymore.
Really? She just gave up on the show?
Well, unless you burn a CD for her and she can listen to it in the car.
Why doesn't she listen to the show? She doesn't care about the show?
No, she probably. I've heard all this before.
Does she like food? Does she like eating? I mean,
there's nothing you're saying that's new.
Oh, that's very close to the voice. Keep it up. You're doing well. Yeah, really good.
It's very similar to Eric's voice.
Oh man!
In fact, it's the only voice I can do.
Could you take it easy? The whole back office is going to check out. Well, the show will fall apart. Don't do that.
We quit.
We quit.
Stink.
You're an a-hole. Oh, hey, let me start you off here.
The back office consists of Eric.
Well, he is the back office. All right. Hey, I got a lot of other things I want to talk about, but I've been hogging the mic, so I'm going to sit back and pop an Adderall and listen to what you have to say.
Well, I've got a couple of funny clips. I mean, something little. I got Obama. Went to Tennessee to speak to the employees of Amazon.
Wait a minute. Was this the slave speech about the new bargain for America?
I don't know. He's been giving the speech day after day in one place or another, so it's probably the same speech. But he's at Amazon talking about the future and how this is Amazon's a good example of the working class can get back to work. It's a robot factory.
It's a slave station.
It's a slave station. Everything's done by robots.
Yeah.
It's like they have a few employees and they're all back there, including some blonde bimbo that was back there smiling.
Was she hot?
They had a bunch of people behind him.
Yeah.
So he goes off prompter for just a second.
Uh-oh.
And he starts to stammer.
Oh,
now,
really?
I've heard him stammer. Sorry?
Really, I said. Like, really stammer?
Never heard of such a thing. So he starts to stammer, and this is the worst I think I've ever heard him do it. And so I'm going to ring the bell as he repeats himself every time he says the same word over and over again. And we'll try to keep count. Ready?
Yep.
Hit it.
I want to tell everybody. I want to tell everybody here the truth. And look, I know that the politics for Obama aren't always great in Tennessee. I understand that. But I want everybody to just hear the honest truth. I've run my last campaign, so I don't need to spin. And here's the truth.
Wow.
It was the worst ever.
But it's one performative after another. Here's the truth. I want everyone to know the truth. I just want to say this on one thing. I mean, nothing is the truth. It's all performatives. Every single thing that comes out of his mouth.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
I got an email. So wait a minute. While you're on this topic. So first I got a tweet. At Barack Obama. Here's my latest plan to help the middle class retire with dignity. Please retweet. I'm not kidding. And then I get an email. Hello, everybody. The basic bargain of this country. Right there. I'm like, what? So can I read this to you for a second? Did you get this email from the president?
Well, I've been sending you some of the ones I've been getting from Hello Hillary. This new thing.
No, I want to talk about the Hello Hillary, but first, let me just read, because this is America.
No, I didn't, because I have disconnected from that campaign.
All right. This is from the White House, so I still like hearing from the White House.
WhiteHouse.gov. Can I stop you right now? I'm going to say something.
Yes.
I'm going to say something. I'm going to make myself perfectly clear.
I want the people to hear the truth.
So they're collecting email addresses on the public dime, and they're going to move them over to that Obama operation, which is everyone knows about, which is a direct marketing thing where they have this huge collection of donors and email addresses and everything else. Yeah. I'm going to put in or anyone can do this. I'm going to put in a Freedom of Information Act request to get these emails. These are being collected.
It's a great list.
It's a great list that they would love to know agenda show.
Yeah, we should be able to. Can you do that? Can you do a FOIA for the entire list?
I don't see why not.
And
just metadata.
Hey,
it's just metadata.
Can we import that into MailChimp?
Oh, yeah.
Can you imagine? And MailChimp might blow up. All right, so hello, everybody.
Good load.
Here it is. The basic bargain of this country says that if you work hard, you can get ahead, you can build a secure life for your family, and know that your kids will do even better someday. Okay. That is not, this is not, old Navy. This is America. We're not like the bargain place, like the bottom bargain, like this is the bin of the universe. The American dream is what we're about. You come into America, you come in with nothing but the clothes on your back, and you can be on top of the world. Why, yes, you could become president. That is the dream. We've gone from the dream to, hello, everybody, the basic bargain. We're not a bargain. I hate this. It makes me mad. And he goes on. But for more than a decade, that bargain has frayed. Oh, now we're a bargain that's busted. Can you believe
frayed?
it?
So you're buying secondhand goods.
Secondhand, like a yard sale now. And a devastating recession made it worst. Worst. Like Ebonics here. And then it just goes on and on and on. And I'm listening to this. And he's done this bargain thing before, but this has got to stop. Someone has to say, no, I'm sorry. We are not a bargain country. This is a country of dreams. We're built on dreams. I got to tell you, I'm expecting him at any moment to say, we need to nationalize Reardon Steel. I can tell you, this is literally what's going to happen. It's beyond me. And then he did his little thing, his little show there, his YouTube show. Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody. On Wednesday, I spoke about what we need to do as a country to build a better bargain for the middle class.
A better bargain. So not only you got a crappy bargain right now.
So apparently somebody has made bargain, the word bargain,
and
some sort of a code word.
I think the
keyword to be pounded on.
Okay, here's what I think is happening. I think you start with the word bargain, and then you can bring in the grand bargain. Isn't that what he's always looking for? The grand bargain, which would be the grand bargain?
I think J.C. Penney's is doing the same thing.
To make sure everyone who works hard has a chance to get ahead in the 21st century economy.
For that is the American dream. Go work at Amazon.
You see, over the past 4.5 years, America's fought its way back from the worst recession of our lifetimes.
Which was George Bush's fault.
We saved the auto industry, took on a broken healthcare system, invested in new American technologies to reverse our addiction to foreign oil, and changed a tax code too skewed in favor of the wealthiest at the expense of working families.
Does he believe that any of this is true?
You know, I was listening to a lot of his stuff while you were gone, and I've decided that he's such a lightweight when it comes to any sort of economic theory or thought. He's never worked for a living. He's never had a job. He's never gone out into the workplaces. He's like this character that is like a nightmarish guy to put into this office. Yeah. He has no understanding of any of this stuff. And when he talks about it, it's always in vague generalities like a little kid would come up with.
Well, then he comes up with this new little meme thing, which I think is coming up in 20 seconds here.
As a result, our businesses have created 7.2 million new jobs over the past 40 months.
Yeah, he doesn't mention how many were lost.
We produce more renewable energy than ever and more natural gas than anyone. Healthcare costs are growing at the slowest rate in 50 years.
I love this statistic. It's getting more expensive, but it's getting more expensive slower than it used to.
And it's already too expensive.
And our deficits are falling at the fastest rate in 60 years. Thanks to the grit and resilience of the American people. Wait
a minute. Thanks to the grit? What does that mean, the grit and resilience of the American people?
We're tough.
Does that mean that we have our faces in the mud?
Well, maybe.
Yeah. We've cleared away the rubble of crisis.
The rubble of crisis. There you go. It's clear. The rubble of crisis is gone.
We've begun to lay a new foundation for stronger, more durable economic growth.
Okay, here it comes.
But as any middle-class family will tell you, we're not yet where we need to be. Trends that have been eroding middle-class security for decades. Technology that makes some jobs obsolete, global competition that makes others movable, growing inequality, and the policies that perpetuate it. All those things still exist, and in some ways the recession made them worse. Reversing these trends must be Washington's highest priority. It sure is mine.
Oh, wait a minute. I thought his highest priority was protecting the American people.
Well, it keeps changing from, they're experimenting.
But even that
it's a work
is,
in progress.
But even that,
and the 500 people that listen to that little thing, you included, they're pretty liberal about what they're going to do.
All right.
But over the past couple of years in particular, Washington has taken its eye off the ball.
And I've been reading that. I've been reading that book, by the way, this town. Very good book. And the use of this word Washington it's really quite disgusting for the president of the United States to be talking this way and blaming it all on Washington and this town. He literally says this town, instead of, your representatives, your government, what it really should be.
An endless parade of distractions and political posturing and phony scandals.
Okay, so the phony scandals thing, that got my goat.
That's a huge meme.
That got my goat. It really got my goat. And
he said, by the way, that at all these speeches, and he said it at the Amazon facility. He uses phony scandals, phony scandals.
So
it's a major meme.
So Jay Carney, Spokeshole Carney, is called on this by Chuck Scarborough on Morning Joe. And typically, this is a lame-ass show. You got Mika Brzezinski, and it's just dumb. The whole show is dumb. You got dumb people on it saying dumb things. But once in a while, something happens, and Carney came out with the phony baloney thing again. In this case, about the IRS, and Joe Scarborough wipes his ass all over the place, and Carney gets so flustered. First of all, he's smirking. He's like, and he's standing in front of the White House, on the lawn where the typical setup is for the news anchors, and Scarborough is back at base or wherever he is. And Scarborough sees him and says, "Oh, I see you're laughing, you're smirking, or whatever, but this is not funny, and you can't, this is not what you said it was. This is not just a couple of people in the Cincinnati office. There's something actually going on here, and you're going to talk about phony scandals. You have to own up to this one." And Carney slips up in a big way. I don't think anyone noticed it. Scarborough didn't notice it. But Carney slips up, and he just puts his foot in his mouth as far as I'm concerned.
This one thing, though, you say that there's cherry-picked information on the site. Let's just take the IRS scandal. The fact is, it's far different than what you said. At the beginning, you said it was just the Cincinnati office, and then we find out more people in Washington are involved. And then this past week, we found out, despite what any of us think of the investigations on Capitol Hill, and I see you smiling, I don't know that there's anything to smile about, that it wasn't a couple of crazy people in Cincinnati, that this information actually went up to the chief counsel of the IRS, which was one of two political appointees by the President of the United States in the entire IRS. So it doesn't sound phony to me, Jay.
Joe, I greatly appreciate that is the line that is being pushed by Republicans who want Washington to be focused on scandals instead of the economy.
No, Jay,
Joe,
that doesn't work. No, is that the truth or not, Jay? Is that the truth or not? You said, Jay, that this was limited to Cincinnati. That wasn't true.
No.
I want to talk about the economy, but talk to me. Don't give me talking points, because that doesn't work on this show. And you've been here long enough to know it doesn't work on this show. Okay. So answer my question, and then let's talk about the economy.
When you get to the question, I'll answer it. Here it is. What we said all along. I gave you the question, and you decided to fight me, Jay. So stop your games with me. We've known each other for too long. I'm not playing your games. I'm not somebody you talk down to from your podium. Yeah, answer my question, Jay. Joe, please, let me answer it. There is no question that activity that occurred at the White House, at the IRS, was inappropriate.
Whoa! How good was that one?
Clip of the day, hit it.
Really? Oh, I didn't even have a clip.
Come on.
Oh, well, thank you. I wasn't expecting anything like that, but I'll take it. I'll take it. Clip of the day. It's not. It's beautiful, though. Yeah, the White House. The IRS.
Wow.
Yeah. I love it, though, when Scarborough just says, hey, you don't talk down to me like you do to everybody else. Screw you.
I guess they're old friends or something. He was pissed at him.
Well, no, didn't Carney used to work at Time or whatever? And these guys all know each other. They're all hanging out at the Washington Press Club.
Yeah.
And so this whole thing, this better bargain, and then we've got, what is this? I mean, I only read about it. It's like, McDonald's, the people who work there can't afford to eat there, and McDonald's should double the wage of the people who work there, and then the Big Mac will cost only 68 cents more. It's just, and then did you see all this? I mean, you must have seen this.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
And then USA Today came out with, what was this survey based on? I didn't get in, obviously we were, what's happening? I'm hearing some, okay. USA Today had some survey, here it is, data exclusive to the Associated Press, so I don't know where it's coming from, which basically says 4 out of every 5 families in America are poor, and the face of the poor in America is white. Did you see this survey? This is pretty big.
Yeah. Well, that's a known fact. It's because there's so many. I mean, everybody's in bad shape, and then and since there's more whites than any. Right. Although the Hispanics, a lot of them don't get counted on these things. They close the door in people's faces. No, you go.
You go. You go. All right.
You go. Right, so, we're still on I want to get rid of these clips, which is this is an example of Obama's discussion of somehow this is his idea of how the economy works and how we can get jobs and all the rest of it. Play the Obamanomics clip.
Okay. Oops. That's what you don't want to hear from your co-host and from your pilot. All right, here we go.
Independent Congressional Budget Office estimates that the cuts that are being made right now in Washington will cost our economy 750,000 jobs this year, 900,000 fewer jobs next year. And a lot of the jobs at risk are at small businesses that contract with our military or our federal agencies. Over the past 4 years, another 700,000 workers at the federal, state, and local levels of government have lost their jobs. These are cops and firefighters, and about half of them are people who work in our schools. Those are real jobs. It doesn't help a company like Amazon when a teacher or a cop or a firefighter loses their job. They don't have money to place an order. That's hundreds of thousands of customers who have less money to spend.
My wife.
And
you should say, and they can't donate to the No Agenda show.
There's supposedly there's more jobs being created and all the rest. And meanwhile, of course, he's talking about the sequester and the budget cuts. And these budget cuts, we always have to remember. Say you have a Department of Education they're getting one. Let's say the Unit 1, which pays for all these teachers. And they're scheduled to get 1.2 next year in terms of just an absolute number because it's always increasing constantly. So they're going to get 1.1, and this is called a budget cut. But it's not a real cut because they're still getting over 1. Now, why does anybody get fired in this scenario? This makes no sense. There's more money.
Yeah.
Not less money. It's just the cuts are in the increases.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't understand why this bull crap is constantly perpetuated by everybody.
Well, because
all
that's
these
what
budgets
we do.
are bigger.
Yeah. That's what we do in the
all
media.
These bogus, they had to fire everybody. Why?
I don't know.
There's more money than before. It drives me crazy.
Well, where is the money? Because the only place I see the money is with the Russians in Saint-Tropez spraying champagne. I don't see any money anywhere else.
Probably goes to them.
Well, the money's going somewhere. It's a crazy situation, and I read these financial blogs, and I listen, of course, to your show with Horowitz. And, you see Detroit, and a lot of European banks apparently are on the hook for Detroit derivatives. And I don't know what's true anymore. It's hard to tell. Philadelphia is, suing the banks for the LIBOR scandal. Apparently there's like 700 trillion of derivatives now out there. And then, if you follow what people are saying about the quantitative easing, that if the yield on the 10-year bond goes up by 2%, then everything comes crashing down. I mean, is October still on according to your cycle theory? Is that where we're at? Because it sure feels to me, just from reading stuff, that we are headed towards something that just, I mean, if countries could just keep printing money, and it would work all the time, then we'd never go bankrupt, right? It would always work. It can't. It doesn't make sense.
No, to a point. A point. So here, you can also overheat the economy by doing that, but it hasn't been taking place because we're in a depression. And I've noticed that the only person Paul Krugman is the only person who actually calls what we're in a depression. He says depression. He uses the word. Nobody else does.
Can I just say?
And when you're in a depression.
Well, when you're in a depression, you rent an Airbnb. This girl who has this apartment is a lawyer. And and this is her house. This is where she lives. All her stuff's here. All her books are here.
Hello.
Yeah. She went to stay with a girlfriend to rent out her place for 4 days to us. And she must be looking at it and go like, crap, man, these guys are celebrity. What are they doing renting my Airbnb?
Well, it cuts both ways.
It's a depression.
So,
thank you.
It's a depression. So in a depression, you can pump money into the economy, and until it creates an inflationary situation, which it hasn't done, as far as I'm concerned. Now, here's what's going to happen. They're going to get rid of Bernanke in October, but they're going to either put in the woman that's already in the Federal Reserve as the associate or assistant or vice.
Yeah, I keep hearing her. What's her name?
Or they're going to put in Larry Summers.
Oh, that guy falls asleep.
Larry Summers is no good. They have to keep the woman there because she's all for this continuation. By the way, people don't realize the quantitative easing thing is still going on, so there's money being pumped into the economy. Yeah. This, again, to me, reflects the cycle that took place in 1849, 1850, where gold was discovered, which it's like finding money instead of having it printed.
Yeah, but we don't have that, and the natural gas is not going to replace or be is equal to the gold.
I'm now of the opinion. I've been reading Marx, and by the way,
wait, which book?
The United States Civil War.
Okay,
there was a book that was put together. You have to remember he was a newspaper columnist and an economist.
You're talking about Karl, right? Karl Marx.
Karl,
yeah,
and he was the most famous economist of his era. He was the who's the guy that died recently? He was Friedman. He's the Friedman of his era. And then there's a bunch of these famous economists throughout time. And he's, the term Marxism has nothing to do with him. He didn't start a revolution. He's just a writer. And he was a newspaper columnist. And so they put a bunch of his essays together.
Stop. You are now saying something that is complete, because I'm ignorant, complete news to me. I don't. Could you please elaborate just a little bit? What do you mean Marxism had nothing to do with him?
It had nothing to do with him. He didn't create a movement. He wrote a book, Das Kapital, which was used as the basis for communist concepts, and it became known as Marxism. And a lot of this was done I believe, over time, a lot of this was done to keep people from reading this guy, because he has a lot of interesting stuff to say. In fact, just as an aside, I'll give you this little one. He has in a letter to Engels, his writing partner, who was also a newspaper guy. He has a letter in there discussing the Civil War with a perspective I've never even thought of discussing or heard of, which is that the Southern slaveholders used their slave holdings, and there was only 330,000 slave holders, and they held about 3 million slaves. Those slaves all had a vote. It wasn't a full vote, but it was a partial vote. And the slaveholders are the ones that got to use that vote. So when there were these there was this conventions in all the different states, and with the exception of South Carolina that wanted to split off from the United States, they didn't care. They've always wanted to split off because their leaders all believed that there should be a monarchy in this country, and if the country wasn't going to go that way, they would, and they'd set up a king of South Carolina, and they still are that way in that state, which is fine. But anyway, so all these other states essentially the votes in these conventions was rigged by these slaveholders who had the slave vote, which was I think 3/5 of a vote or something like that. So they had essentially about more than 1 million extra votes on top of their vote that they would use to rig these things. Most of the public, the poor, this is a shocker, and this letter needs to be reprinted. Most of the public in the South did not want to secede from the Union. They didn't want to do it. They didn't see any benefit in it. They knew it was going to create some sort of a conflict, and the whole thing was a disaster. And it became that. The Southern they were held hostage by the slaveholders, which was a small portion of the Southern population, which I believe was a total of 5 million, I think, non-slaves in the South, and 330,000 slaveholders. The slaveholders were the elites, and they decided for whatever reason that they wanted to have the war, and they screwed the Southern population, which to this day carries over with the kind of lousy schools and all the rest of the crap that goes on.
Okay, but how does that relate back to Marx?
I just want to make sure that there was a little extra thing. Marx was discussing this.
Okay.
So Marx points out in the Civil War thing, which is what got my attention because I'm still on the Cycles book, that there was a panic in 40.
Sorry.
There was a panic in. What?
I'm sorry.
I know, no. Big joke.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm not working on it. There was a panic. There were two depressions, and one was a panic. And if you look it up and go to Google and write in Panic of 1847. There was a panic in 1847. That was a bubble, very similar to the housing bubble. It was a rail building bubble. It created a quasi-depression similar to the one that was started in 2007, right on the mark, right on the exact year of the cycle. And then the next one that came after that was 1857, which would be 2017.
Hold on. Panic of 1847, right? Collapse of British financial markets associated with the end of the 1840s railway industry boom. That's interesting.
Very interesting. So that created this worldwide economic downturn. And then the backup to that was 1857, which is all in the same cycles that I've been discussing all these years that I've been working on this.
Yeah.
So that says to me that the chances that we're going to have the 2017 collapse is higher than the possibility that we're going to have a collapse this October, which would be kind of parallel to the 1933 bottom and all these other things that take place on this particular year.
Right.
I think we're going to sneak through this and we're going to get to 2017.
Really? Without a huge collapse?
Yeah.
But wait a minute. 2017 is when this is really a problem. I've been in Europe for a week and a half, and everyone's like, "Oh, when are you going to come by?" And I keep telling them, "Oh, after the war." And they'll go, "What? What war? Is it the 2017 war?"
No, there's not a war in 2017. The war's it might be in Europe, but there's a war in 2020. Because that is an 80-year cycle. Now, this one's kind of interesting because I've been thinking about this too. Because you can't guess this war. I mean, most of these wars you could. And on the 80-year cycle, the wars have been as follows. Right on the numbers, there was American Revolution, which was to get rid of British occupation. Then there was the Civil War, which took place, which I just discussed a second ago, 80 years later. And then 80 years after that, there was World War II, which was a horrible war.
Yeah, well, it was not an outstanding product, no.
So the next cycle is 2020. There should be a war. But and I thought about this, every war that we've had in this country, not World War I, which was, we showed up and it kind of tipped the balance.
Yeah.
The first one was against an outside force, the British.
Yep.
The second one was against ourselves. We were just fighting ourselves.
Yep. Yes.
The third one was against Europe, essentially. Or against
wait. We had some Japanese
but it was countries. It was our country versus these countries.
Right. What
would be the fourth one if it's going to be different?
Aliens. That would be my call.
I think
it's time.
I think we're going to fight against our own government.
Oh man, how cool would that be? That'll be awesome.
It'd be
no, it'd be fan because we win. The government can't beat that. Well, and it would make a lot of sense. Someone else is thinking this. If you look at all the military drills that are taking place in urban areas, they're flying everywhere. They're getting ready for urban warfare. So you may not be alone in this.
I never have believed that my thoughts on this, including the cycle and the years and the coincidences, is singular. I'm not some guy that's over here. I'm not the only guy thinking this. And I'm sure there's somebody in some think tank thinking the same thing.
Wait a minute. Are you now basically on board with the Alex Jones train? Is that what I'm hearing?
No, Alex Jones is doing something. I don't know what the hell he's up to.
Because, this is kind of the thing.
He just thinks that, but this is 2020. We're way out there on this.
So, all right, 2020.
He thinks tomorrow.
No, it's not going to happen tomorrow. No, so you're saying we have about 7 years, and that's when we get to it.
To the war. But that's beside the point, because we're going to have an economic collapse in 2017. That's what we have to be prepared for.
Right. Okay, so to bring it back around to Marx, just so we can close this, and this has been very educational. I really appreciate this. And I have to say, I don't know how the book is doing, but in the 6 years we've been doing the show, and you've repeated this, it's gotten to a really good. You got a good rap going on with this now. And the thing that
I think I'm pretty.
No, it's very good. I'd like you to come back to the thing and just say Karl Marx. If I walk on the street, one of those man on the street interviews, people are like, Karl Marx was a dictator, man. He killed millions of people. I'm telling you, no one knows about Karl Marx.
I know, it's hilarious.
So he was a writer. He was essentially he worked for the CNBC of the day, and he was just writing something, and then they memed him into some horrible dude so that people wouldn't read the book. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Well, it's not just a book. He wrote a lot.
Yeah.
I read his columns. He wrote during the Civil War period, so he wrote a lot about the Civil War, and he had a lot of observations. He was a columnist. Hello?
There you go. Who else do we know who's a columnist? Let me think. Can you imagine in like 50 years from now, there's a bronze head of you?
Yeah.
And
great.
You know what I really loved about Marx? I loved his music.
I loved his brothers.
I've got his music right here. See, you're even worse than I am. No one remembers the Marx brothers. There you go. You remember this? By the late, great Karl Marx? Karl Richard Marx? All right, never mind.
No, I don't know Karl Richard Marx.
That was a very obscure 80s joke.
So, anyway, that's my Marx material.
I'd say that was very good.
The guy's a Marxist. He's reading Marx. You can't read Marx.
I like it. I like it.
Beck voice. Okay, so Nigel Farage is on a BBC Q&A show. I've never seen or heard this show before.
Yeah, no, question time, I think it is.
Yeah, question time, is what it's called. And there's some guy ranting about it, war criminals and how, George Bush and Tony Blair should be hauled in the front of the Hague and thrown in jail. And then it goes to Farage, who actually takes some shots at the U.S. I thought was kind of interesting.
I think it comes back to issues like the war on terror, where we are sending our working class people to go and fight in illegal wars overseas for America's economic interests, and it's about time that we stopped sending the working class people to go and fight for America's economic interest and started bringing people like Tony Blair and others who were in the Labour government at that time up to The Hague to face the war crimes tribunals that they deserve to face.
Nigel Farage.
What did that guy just say, actually? Did he? Was there a question in there?
He says we're fighting wars for America's interests. We should stop it.
Which is, by the way, it's bullcrap. It's bullcrap. We're fighting it for British Petroleum, for Total Oil,
and for it.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Those are all American interests too.
I think we have a slightly schizophrenic debate on this, because we're all horrified this week by what we've heard, and yet just 2 or 3 weeks ago, in the wake of the Woolwich murders, a lot of people were screaming and shouting, saying, look, the security services knew who these guys were, why wasn't more done? So it is about, and several of the panel have said this, it is about balance. However, is what is happening, or potentially happening here, an acceptable price, was the question. And I think when the Americans launched the war on terror under George Bush, they've gone so far down a road where, frankly, in America, they've now launched a war on liberty and freedom, and it applies not just to surveillance, it applies to a plea bargaining system where if the state says you're guilty, you have almost no choice but to plea bargain guilty. And so I would say this, Leslie's right, these are big American companies, and users have got to be aware that if they're going through American internet service providers, their stuff is not safe. I hope we do get some alternatives out of it, and I really do not want us to go down the route where we allow the liberty of millions of people in this country to be destroyed because we're following the Americans who've frankly gone completely over the top.
But how do you prevent it if you've got Facebook, if that's where you're working on Facebook? How do you prevent it?
I think people have to be cautious. When they're using all forms of social media, cautious about what they say and about what they do. Yeah, do not think that whatever you say on Facebook is private. It isn't.
Okay, I'd like to say something here. First of all, clap. First of all, the chat room has now coined it Dvorakism, so you can write that down. I have been thinking about this. And we have forgotten what the internet is and what you can do with it. This has been long forgotten, and it wasn't really that long ago. I've been running my own mail server. There's all kinds of ways you can communicate. You don't have to go. This, and even Nigel Farage is propagating this whole idea that the only way to use the internet is to use Facebook and Twitter, and this is part of a coordinated plan, I believe. There's some psychological thing going on where people fall into it, and they really believe that this is all that the internet is, where the internet itself is a network that cannot be defeated by design. And I have in my own law. As you know, we have Dvorak's Law, which has been accepted by the Urban Dictionary, denied by Wikipedia. Would you like to recount Dvorak's Law?
Yeah, in a depression, the hookers are cheaper and better looking.
Very good. And I have heard people steal this, at least partially, about the cheap part, but they always forget the better looking part, which I think is a shame because that is the full law. My law, Curry's Law, if you will, the more technology is centralized, the more it enslaves us. And if you think about it,
I don't think it's quite as good as my law. There's no hookers involved.
Yeah, well, yeah, if the hooker technology, no, I like my law.
Can't you get hookers into this somehow?
I know. I like my law the way it is. And we need to, and you need to decentralize this stuff. All of these things are going to fall apart. They're not going to work. So now we got Google Fiber, and everyone's like, oh, Google Fiber, it's fantastic. I'm moving to Austin for Google Fiber. And the first thing that's in Google's...
so I can give Google everything.
Right there it states you're not allowed to run a server on Google Fiber. Why? I'm seriously considering just starting a little mini ISP in Austin. What happened to the mom and pop ISP? What happened to that?
Pushed out. They got bought out, pushed out.
But it's not
by Comcast.
Right, but it's not impossible to start that up again.
No, there's still actually a number of independents all over the country. There's hundreds.
Yeah, and why shouldn't I just go get this great Linux email package?
I can tell you why.
Why?
You haven't got enough time to do. You know what? That's a full-time job. How are you going to do the show?
No, I'm not talking. I mean, you get my point. It's like we can do this. We can get around this. And just see it as a reality show. People who don't get it and stay on Facebook, they eventually get voted off the island. I mean, that's just the way it is. But people are crazy that they accept this, and it's not being taught anywhere what the internet really is. And now,
you're right. Actually,
what used to be the cloud,
Nigel.
Yeah.
He should have said, well, get off Facebook instead of making this excuse.
Exactly.
Well, be careful when you're on Facebook.
Exactly. No,
that's what you're complaining.
He should have said, we need to teach our young people how the internet works and how you can utilize it. And to just say, oh, it's Facebook, it's Twitter, it's social media, I mean, the elites are laughing. You're falling right into their trap, where the true network itself by design, cannot be broken. They're stupid idiots. Well, that's not the no agenda people. Although most of them are on Google+. Oh, drives me crazy. Yeah, it drives me
which
crazy.
is worse.
The SOA thing is disturbing.
The what?
SOA.
Oh, I said it. Yeah, I've been saying that. Well, it's just a way to kill.
No, it's a way to grab. It's a way to grab attention. It's a way to test.
It's exactly the same as being a Hummer.
It's not. It's worse.
It's a version of humming because you're just making noise for no apparent reason.
Yeah, exactly. I've been very conscious of not doing it and starting off. If you listen to people, they are talking to each other. So, how are you doing? So, I don't know. So, what's going on? So, how's the weather? So, what you do? So, what you wanted? It's all so. Everyone starts with so.
I'm going to start with look.
Yeah, much better. This Jack, what's the Barnaby Jack is this hacker who I'd never heard of before. And he died. And
did you listen or look at some of his YouTube videos where he discusses some of the stuff he's done? He's
of
outrageously great.
Of course, I had no idea what he was all about until he died, which always sucks. And this is right in line. Yeah. Well, what is happening now is, and everyone's like, I even heard on Twit, I think, someone claimed that he had a pacemaker and that he died, and he, of course, was going to expose how pacemakers can be sabotaged from afar. Let me tell you what's going on right now. And whether Barnaby Jack was used by coincidence or whether he was killed to get it started, which I would immediately believe. I have no proof, to the point. This is what Sir Dr. Sharkey, our very own doctor, alerted us to several months ago. He said, I'm getting nothing but information from medical journals, from medical publications about how dangerous all of the medical devices are, and people can hack into everything anywhere. And what has happened is, right up to one of the premier kind of gossip magazines for business, I would say, is Forbes magazine. Everyone in business, everyone in Fortune 500s, Fortune 1000s, they all read Forbes magazine. Would you agree with me?
I think more people than I think a lot of people read Forbes, and it's a very gossipy.
Right.
Even though they do make a point of being high-end journalists, it seems that they dig in. They reveal a lot of dirt.
Okay, so this started with Michael Hastings. And if you really want to get something moving in this world, you want to get the hackers motivated. You want to get everyone on board. You want to have Kaiser Alexander talking at Black Hat, DEF CON, wherever the hell he's at. You want to have Michael Hastings' car being carjacked and killed that way. You want to have Barnaby Jack being killed by his pacemaker, being controlled by the evil empire. And, of course, you're going to send your Forbes guy to test the car. And this was actually, I'd have to say borderline promotion for the brand new bonanza, I tell you, of cybersecurity corporations that are going to be created, that are being created as we speak. This is Y2K times 10.
It's quite terrifying when you don't have brakes, right?
Now we're in Chicago, and I just saw a tweet from Charlie that he's driving up from St. Louis in the car that he's going to hack. So when we arrive, we're going to have about 24 hours to mess around with this car, and I believe that these guys are going to make it work because they're serious professionals and they have a lot of money from DARPA, the research wing of the Defense Department.
If you're going 80 in traffic in this, right, this is going to be... What I'm doing here is I flooded the CAN network with traffic with a speed it didn't know about, and that's why the speedometer read 0. And then I told the car it was in reverse and it was trying to park itself. Oh. And therefore it was doing the very heavy jerky motions. If you would have stopped the car completely, you would have seen the wheel do 2 complete rotations in a clockwise direction. This is one of the funnest and most annoying ones.
Oh my god. What happens?
All right, so this video goes on, and they're jerking the seat belts and turning the steering wheel. And
right,
well, I was just going to say, yes, every story that you're going to be reading now is how your boat is vulnerable, how your motorcycle is vulnerable, how your electronic toothbrush is vulnerable, your microwave is vulnerable. Hackers are going to kill you every single way you can.
Well, let's make sure we make one thing clear for people who haven't seen this video. For one, they ripped the car apart to get to the computers. It wasn't like it's from some remote to somebody sitting there with a Wi-Fi set up and they grabbed the car and started driving it around. They essentially stripped the car so they could essentially plug into these various subsystems, and then they made the horn honk. And they made the wheel turn. I mean, the thing was a joke. It was a joke.
But it's promotion,
all it
John.
showed me is that you can't do these things. You can't remotely control a car.
What this is giant promotion, and everyone's jumping on board. Every single Silicon Valley bloggy thing, like the Giga Ohms and the Wired magazine, and everyone's going to jump on. This is money. I smell it. This is huge money. Because everyone wants to have a part of the, now we need, our entire fleet needs to be cyber securitized, and all our medical devices, we can't have hackers go. It's a bonanza.
Hardened.
Hardened. And we called this. We saw this months ago. And here it is. And of course, it's true. Everything is, this isn't Curry's law. You get all this technology centralized, you give it to Toyota and let them do it all. Of course, you're going to be enslaved by it one way or the other. Hookers. I just got to throw that in there. Maybe Curry's law should be...
No, wait. You just can't throw the word hookers into the law.
I think that should just be the end of it. Just be, the more technology is centralized, the more it enslaves us. Hookers. I think that that completes the law. Thank you. I was looking for that. I knew it wasn't complete. And in the UK... This is what bothers me. The way this is reported, so you get this Forbes thing, which is totally set up... it's meant to, because all you hear now is people saying, they can hack into your car, they killed Hastings, they killed Barnaby Jack. I'm not so sure about all that. And then you get this, this is how it was tweeted over and over again. First it comes, people, when you send me an article, like Wired magazine, and Wired is referring to Activist Post, and Activist Post is referring to the Open Rights Group. Would you please make the clickstream yourself and go to the source of the article before you tweet the link to me or email it to me? Have you noticed this, John, that people don't even read?
They won't go. They're too lazy to go to the original source. So Wired quotes an article in the Washington Post, which quotes an article in a blog, which quotes some guy's paper.
Exactly.
We want the paper. Yeah. We don't want all this crap in the middle.
And so the story that's been going around is the opt-out net filters in the UK will include conspiracy theories. There's no evidence of this. There is no. Will it? Could it?
Extrapolation.
Yeah. Could it? Yeah. Of course it could. Would they love to? Yeah. Of course. I'm not disputing the fact that it can happen, but please, it's a far cry from the Open Rights Group saying, here's what it could look like, and adding the word, what was it? Obscure? Was that what it was? I can't find it right now. Esoteric material.
Esoteric, right. That's
and then extrapolating that to what the Wired article is, UK to ban conspiracy theories. Now, please. This is not good use of my time. And this is, do they want to do that? Sure. But it's not happening like that. And it's not written that way. And there's no facts, no proof. And just, And we're going, and I think that if anything, the alternative media is being duped. Because all we're talking about is how, how everything is vulnerable and you can get killed by the government doing this or that. And Snowden he's gotten, after publishing yet another PowerPoint. This just doesn't tell me anything. I'm seeing PowerPoints. I've seen some PowerPoint decks. What do you have? What is this thing? X keyhole?
X-asshole.
Yeah, the X-asshole PowerPoint. I'm not impressed. but instead of talking about the actual laws and Section 215 and how the amendment was voted down by your very own representatives, we should be with pitchforks in Washington D.C. getting ready to chop somebody's head off that they didn't even try to tether this in.
No.
They didn't.
They did a lot of lip service, though.
A lot of lip service. And this is what's going on. This is the whole game. The game is to get you talking about Snowden. I really don't care. I really don't care about him. And to talk about and to listen to Glenn Greenwald. And it's not about that. It is what is actually happening. This was funny. This is let me see. This is also from the what was that Morning Joe show. This is Steve Ratner, who I think wasn't he the car czar or something for the Obama administration at some point. Anyway, here so they play a piece of Glenn Greenwald, and here's the conversation.
Greenwald, as we bumped into this segment, this discussion, and I will say everybody had a different body language reaction to it, which I won't define, but it wasn't completely comfortable, and I think. Because it's not a black and white story. It's not a good and evil story. Glenn Greenwald thinks it is.
Well, that's the point. That's exactly the point. First of all, Glenn Greenwald is not a journalist. He's an activist, and portraying himself as a journalist, that's maybe another conversation.
I love that. He's not a journalist. He's an activist. And I think this guy's
actually
right.
a really good journalist, by the way.
But he
writes the way it should be done. He gets the sources. He outlines stuff very well structured. If anybody's a journalist, it's him.
Yeah. But he's not going to be. He's going to go down as wanton publishing. Yeah. So anyway,
I have the wanton publishing thing. By the way, did you know that he was found guilty on wanton publishing?
Who?
Manning.
Well, the actual charge was wanton publishing.
That's one of the things he got charged with. I have a little clip here that explains it. If you don't mind interrupting your train of thought here.
No, please. Let's.
But it's the.
Yeah, I got it.
Alexa O'Brien, one of the charges for which Bradley Manning was found guilty was what they called wanton publication. Could you explain the significance of this, especially with respect to military law and with regard to WikiLeaks?
Absolutely. So wanton publication, Manning was found guilty of. He faces 2 years maximum for it. Now, this particular offense has never been used in a military court-martial before. It's not tied to any existing federal violation or punitive article under the Uniform Code of Military Justice. Now, what's interesting about this is oftentimes whatever witnesses testified for aiding the enemy also testified for wanton publication. And what the government, essentially their case, what it was based on, wanton publication, the release of large data sets, was essentially that WikiLeaks was not a legitimate journalistic organization. That was one of their sort of theories that propped this up. And the other one was that evidence about receipt by the enemy of intelligence could be used to show that Manning's leaks were wanton. So this is meant to prescribe disclosures of large data sets that are made available by the internet. It's very cheap for people to publish right now. And while Manning doesn't have to be the proximate publisher, it certainly is a chill or prohibition against anyone who, in the military or in the national security arena, who wants to publish something, on the internet that will make the government angry.
We're angry.
We're angry, so we're going to come up with this trumped-up, bogus charge that's not even in the rule book.
No.
And charge you with it with 2 years in jail. How does that even work? When you follow this case, by the way, apparently, there's two things. Actually, do I have this clip, though, as a question? Damn it, I may not have gotten it. Well, let me tell you what it was. No, I don't have it. So apparently the judge in the case, I must have this clip. Jeez, what an idiot. How did I miss this?
I don't know.
Anyway, the judge in the case has been given a promotion in the middle of the case.
Oh, really?
And this guy, yeah.
Really?
And the guy who's apparently Julian Assange's lawyer, I'll find this clip. We played it on Sunday.
Julian Assange or Bradley Manning?
Assange.
Okay.
He was just doing some commentating. He says, yeah, they gave her a promotion right to a higher court, right in the middle of the case. It was the government who did this, so she could play ball. He says the only time this happened, he says this happened before during the trial of the Pentagon Papers guy.
Ah.
They did the same thing then. They gave the guy
a fractal.
Another job. They say, hey, if you play ball with us, you get it. And so this woman has this woman judge in the Manning case has been just essentially allowing, for example, after he was found guilty of all these charges, for the government to lay more charges down and just assume that he's guilty of all of them.
You know what that is?
This whole
that's Marxism.
It's a kangaroo court.
Yeah. Yeah, and so he's going to get, 170 years?
That's the possibility.
You and I are going to rot in jail one day. When they come up with the wanton podcasting, we're going to rot in jail.
Wanton podcasting.
I'm thinking,
you guys are just podcasts. You're talking too long.
Joe Rogan is doing this show, a TV show, which is, it's like Joe Rogan investigates everything. And I really like Joe Rogan's podcast. I really like it a lot. I mean, I can't listen to it all the time because it's just time in general. But he's got, especially when he has guests on, that's when he's got great stuff. But then he does this show, and it's like, is he hedging against something? I've been offered this exact show here in the Netherlands. They say, oh, we've got this great idea. You're going to go out and you're going to go investigate conspiracy theories in 22 minutes. Are you crazy?
This is the job they gave to the governor of Minnesota, Jesse
Ventura. Exactly. And they'll do anything. They'll throw money at you. They'll do anything to get us to shut up and go away, including, I guess, pre-scaring us with this wanton publication thing. Now, neither you or I are in the military that I know of, so we should be okay. But how long, man? How long? And will they actually come up with a media shield law when you have to, as you claim, and I think you're right, we'll have to have a license to be a journalist? Hello, Singapore.
Hello, Brazil.
All right, here we go.
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh, yeah, that'd be fab. Yeah, on No Agenda in the morning.
Well, the one thing we know for sure is that we're not going to be swayed by money because here you go.
Didn't get that much. We only had I think 50 total donations above $50 and less than a producership
over three shows.
3 shows.
3 shows, yeah.
And which is less than 20 a show. It's pretty pathetic. So, which would make us never get a journalist license. The journalist license in Brazil, for example, actually you have to pay a fee every year.
Really?
It's like a tax. You have to be taxed to write.
Logan 5 in the chat room just said, here's an idea. Declare your podcast as a religion. That may not be a bad idea, actually.
We're pretty close to it.
Yeah.
Scott Schoenberger, $150 in Malibu, California. No comment. Kyle Magnum, 12358 in Chattanooga, Tennessee, trying to correct his boner status. He says, thanks for both for the needed mental flossing. He also has something to do. I'll send you. You saw the note. He's got something to do with Florence. Andrew Carlson, $120 in St. Paul, Minnesota. Nuts. It goes along with his drunk fanboy email to Adam from somewhere over Africa.
I read it. Thank you.
Sir Howard Gutnicht.
Gutnicht.
In Seattle, 11661. He's in Columbia City, hoping to secede from the city of Seattle when he becomes a No Agenda Duke later this year.
Nice.
Duke? Sir Bruce Salkovitz in Warrington, Pennsylvania.
He's asking for some job karma. He's a
we'll give him the job karma. Yeah. We don't have that many people to talk about.
We got a night.
You've got karma.
We break for nights.
Wendy Bauman, $100. I have a note. I'm going to read it because she wrote a note and sent it in as a note. My son Greg is a weekly donor. He has turned me from a boner to a donor.
Hey,
this is all written in longhand by a female, Wendy Bauman or Brahman.
Did she send a picture?
B-A-U. It's actually Brahman. B-R-A-M-A-N. Sorry.
But did she send a picture?
No, she didn't send a picture.
Okay.
You're the one that gets the pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Even he even set up an old cell phone to auto-download the shows for me. I have listened for a few months to get a feel for the show. That's how long it takes for some people. Unfortunately, almost everyone. I have to say I am getting addicted. What put me over the top was Adam's common sense rant about abortion.
Oh.
It is inconceivable that an intelligent society can kill its citizens and call it choice.
I don't think I said it that way, but okay.
That's an interpretation. Paul Groves, 7451 in Wangaratta, Victoria, Australia.
By the way, I laid some of that on my elitist friends. And you know what they said? Oh, so you're a Republican.
Is that pathetic or what?
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, it is.
That is so pathetic.
But that shows you what the marketing of America is. We're a bargain, and we only have blue people and red people.
Yeah. And there's a lot of swingers, it seems, in Texas.
Oh, really? Well, I should get to know them.
Well, apparently the hot spot...
Oh, wait a minute. Did you talk to your friend again?
The hot spot in Texas... There's apparently 3 towns.
Yes.
Dallas.
Of course.
San Antonio.
Oh, San Antonio.
And Austin.
No, Austin can't be.
Austin is one of the hot spots, and it has a club. It has an actual building, a physical club.
A swingers club in Austin?
Yes.
And what is the name of said club?
Friends.
Okay, I shall investigate.
Go to Google, type in Austin Swingers Club Friends, and you'll get the name of the place.
Austin.
And I'm suspicious now of all these meetings and dinners you're having with these people who all sound like swingers to me.
Let me see. Wow, it looks kind of dark.
Andre Schmid in Lausanne.
God. Check the images when you Google that. Oh, my goodness.
Lausanne, Switzerland. Happy birthday, Switzerland. Created in 1291. 10 cents per year is what he gave us, which is $72.20. Please send karma to all the Swiss people in Switzerland and abroad.
You've got karma.
By the way, Paul Groves with the 7451 is his employee number in Australia. He wants to get some karma for jobs. Let's give it to him.
Of course. I'm happy to.
You've got karma.
And now it's time, beginning with Brian Pearson.
Oh, no.
69, dudes!
Before you move into the segment, very important to note, Yahoo just published, as a part of the cyber scare for more security, the top 10 PIN codes. And checking in at number 10 is indeed 6969. How dumb are people, really? 6969.
Yeah, well, there are probably no agenda listed.
Probably.
Brian Pearson, LeGrand, Oregon. Benjamin Hulsbergen in Battle Creek, Michigan. We had a lot of Michigan donors, by the way. Stephen Ryko, I believe, in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. John S. Christek in Berkeley, California. Good for him. Eric Young in Salt Lake City, Utah. Richard Gardiner in 6969 Enmore, New South Wales, Australia. Anthony Garlinger in Elmhurst, Illinois. Kuang Lu, I believe, in Santa Ana, California. Joseph Frost came in twice, it looks like, in Wooddale, Illinois. Nick Ismendi in Waterford, Michigan. He has a hot girlfriend, he says.
Oh, send pictures.
Yeah. Brian Bolton in Columbia, Maryland. Oliver Stanley in Aldershot, Hampshire, UK.
Oh, I've been to Aldershot. It's right next to Bagshot.
We have a birthday shout-out for Uncle Marco. Edward Hines in Jacksonville, Florida. And finally, David Cox in Ione, Washington.
69, dudes!
Which brings us to Jonathan Beres. What do you think that is? Berecz.
I would say Berez.
Yeah.
Berez.
Yeah, probably. Wakefield, Massachusetts. Geert Bieling in Vertroet, Belgium.
Okay. Geert Belen in Vertrijk. Let me read his note here.
I didn't see his IJ. It looked like a U.
Yeah, so thanks a lot, guys, for putting a smile on my face every time I'm listening to an episode. Listening for a few months. Loving it. Also could use some karma to land a new job. Hey, you should talk to the Baron, the Grand Duke over there, Pelsmakers.
You've got karma.
You a job.
Yeah, he can hook you up. He can get you some slave job in the Protectorate.
Keegan Neer, 5510 in Kalamazoo, Michigan.
Whoa.
Greg Stone, our buddy Greg Stone. Sorry?
Yeah, you added someone I don't have. Okay, I'm sorry. Keep going. My mistake.
Keegan Neer?
Yeah, my mistake. Wrong spreadsheet. My mistake.
Greg Stone, Rapid City, South Dakota. We do have some. He wants a job karma for Rory Stone, who's I believe is one of our knights.
I think it's him.
Greg and Rory's the same guy. I think you're right. It should be Sir Greg Stone.
That's one of those things we've been doing.
We haven't got the Sir thing working on the spreadsheet yet.
We've been doing that. We've been doing that wrong for 3 years.
I think is he one of the guys who bitches at us?
Yeah, he says,
"Hey, I'm a Sir, you idiots."
Yeah, I'm a knight.
I'm a knight, you idiots. Okay. Jonathan Rose in Netanyahu, Israel.
Netanya. Now, he's really nice. He says, I know you came short for the 2 shows. I want to make sure you chipped in. That's cool. Value for value.
Robert Wood, 50 double nickels on the dime for Jonathan. Double nickels on the dime for Robert Wood in Keller, Texas, right up the street from you. He said, and again, we had the same thing. I thought Adam's coverage of the Texas abortion bill to be the most excellent man in the universe. I also appreciated the issue being handled because most organizations steer clear of abortion infanticide. No agenda, no fear.
I just want to say, people go back and listen to that episode because I think we were talking about a lot of things, not just about the abortion issue itself, but about protests and about who was really there.
Either. We were just we weren't just taking
reporting.
Sides.
We were reporting is what we're doing.
Reporting about what bullcrap it was, the way they were doing it.
Exactly.
New listener, Hooked, thanks, guy, says Robert Piper or Peeper in Omaha, Nebraska.
Daniel Peeper. Daniel Peeper. Daniel Peeper.
What'd I say?
Robert.
Oh, because I read it from above. It's Daniel Peeper.
Yeah.
David Hassan, 5333, New York City. Dusty Dave, Pasadena, California, 5314. Eric Huckel, $52 in Berlin, Deutschland. Eric Newman, $50.05 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Kevin Payne, $50.01 in Chantilly, Virginia. Michael Warner, $50, New York City or New York, I don't know. Vestal, New York. Bruce Bradley, Lawton, Oklahoma. Alan Cleland in Dundee, Angus, UK. Greg Bunsell in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Sir Greg. Mark Montgomery in Mississauga, Ontario. Time to hit Scott Montgomery in the mouth for his 50th birthday. That's coming up. Omar Morales Munoz in Ecatecupec in Mexico. Hola, he says. Adam Clark, North Lakes, Queensland. Carl Brown.
Really? Adam Clark? Really?
Aiden.
Oh, okay. Just making sure you got it right.
Aiden Clark. Carl Barron in Malmo, Sweden. Peter Totes from Parts Unknown, $50. Lucero.
You sounded so gay when you said that.
Lucero Mose.
I'm sorry.
Mount Coolum, man.
Coolum.
$50 in Queensland. Shad Rich in Seattle, Washington. Terrence Knapp in Waikiki, Western Australia. Waikiki, really?
That's not Australia. That's
I don't
Hawaii.
So. Macy Stolowski.
And he's falling apart, ladies and gentlemen.
Calgary, Alberta. Kyle Bauer in parts unknown. Also, Michael Hasenkamp in Santa Clara, California. And finally, for $50, Sonhee G in Severn, Maryland. Sonhee G. I have a note from him I have to read.
Okay.
Because he wrote it by hand, longhand.
Longhand, thank you. It's highly appreciated. We are the only show that is keeping longhand alive.
And it's the only show that can read longhand from my experience listening.
That's right. That's absolutely
right.
To
John and Adam, in the morning to you guys, I'm a 16-year-old listener, and I have the honor of writing my first check to the best podcast in the universe.
Thank you.
First check.
His first check ever, or just to us?
No, his first check ever. The first check he's ever written. I'm not one of the Obama bot slaves that populates our training institutions, although I need to undo some of the brainwashing. Thank you guys for all the values you provide, and I want to show my support, value for value. From my summer internship, I got paid, but the money is cursed. After receiving it, nothing but misery came. I had $50 left after supporting the family and was going to split it with you guys and charity. After Adam's talk of corruption in the Red Cross, I doubted my contribution. I doubled my contribution to the No Agenda show. I wish it was possible to keep listening, but I have training in a month. Keep up the great work, and if you can please give me some karma to get rid of this curse.
Yeah, of course. And how old is he?
16.
16. John, when I hear these types of things, it makes it all worth it. It really does. All right, here you go, my friend. Big karma coming your way.
You've got karma.
Most excellent. Thank you. I feel really good about that.
Yeah.
In longhand, right? In longhand.
He has a PS. He says, John, I wrote this note in longhand after hearing what you and Leo had to say about it.
Wait a minute.
It's still important, he says. Leo I was on doing the Twitch show, and everybody on the show except me, nobody should read long. Who cares?
Again, amazing how well you do the voices. It's like I'm listening to Twit.
It's unbelievable. I know I could do the show by myself.
Oh, wow. Okay, let me...
By the way, that voice I got from you. I got that voice from just the voice you use.
That's my voice. Yeah, right. Kind of a sad note, and I don't want to end on a bummer, but we want to give a little bit of a special karma to our Welsh sysadmin. He's known as Universal, and his mom passed away from cancer, so we want to hand out a healthy... and a karma for him.
You've got
and
karma.
For his family. And know that everyone on the team is ready for you, anything you need. I'm sorry, it's kind of a bummer. Especially after all the fun longhand stuff. But that shows you that we have a real family with no agenda, and that makes it nice, because we do. We have an actual family of people, a cast of crazies.
Not so crazies.
Yeah, well, but we've got to remain portraying ourselves as crazies. That's important. I mean, it was you who actually said on this show, John C. Dvorak, if 5-6 years ago, anyone had said, hey, Dvorak was saying that we're probably going to go to war against our own government, there's no way. You're like, no, you weren't listening to Dvorak. There must have been something else. You got to be mistaken.
Yeah, what's he got to do with that?
It's nothing at all. Hey, please help us out for our Sunday show. We're going to be working very hard. They're expecting about 98 degrees here in the Netherlands, Gitmo lands on Sunday. So, and of course,
that's not good.
No, there's no air conditioning.
Your equipment won't work.
I am sitting in my underwear. I hate to give you the visual, but that's all I have on. I know. I know. I just ruined the whole show. I'm sorry.
And this is why we don't do video.
/NA.
That's right.
All right,
Keegan-Neer says happy birthday to his mom. She turned 46 on July 2nd. John Johnson Jr. Congratulates himself with 33 last week magic numbers. Andre Schmidt in Switzerland celebrates. John Krisneck says happy birthday to little Liam Halsey. Anthony Garlanger congratulates himself, which is illegal in several states, I believe. 29 on July 30th, and his fiancée turned 29 on July 31st, so you guys can have a double dip. How nice. Oliver Stanley, happy birthday, Uncle Mario, who celebrated on the 27th. Mark Montgomery, happy birthday to August Montgomery, celebrating tomorrow. And Janice Rodeffer, happy birthday to hubby Scott Miller, who celebrated on July 26th. And we say happy birthday to all of you from your friends here at the best podcast in the universe. No nights, no changes in titles. It's not been a great summer so far. It's just not.
No. It's, well,
okay.
Yeah.
This train thing that you mentioned in the newsletter, I have some thoughts on it as well. But we've had, and this has been kind of been the talk in Europe since there's been, was it now? I think we've had 3 train wrecks, a bus wreck. Public transportation is killing more people than terrorism ever has at this point in time. Which, of course, we're not going to ban trains, or we're not going to do anything to balance out your safety against your security and your freedoms. But okay, it doesn't matter. There is something strange going on, and you have, believe you brought this up in the newsletter, so I'm expecting you to have some.
It came up because JC over dinner was he's working for this company.
Buzzkill Jr.
Buzzkill Jr. said that he was talking to a guy. They're trying to recruit somebody, and he works for General Electric. And he turns out this guy is apparently connected to all the high-speed rail in the whole world. He knows everything.
Mm-hmm.
And he says there's no way that any high-speed rail can do this. It's just not possible. And in fact, the train will stop if there's a problem because there's all this signaling. There's four levels of safety on these trains.
Okay, wait a minute. So what we're establishing something here. The story that has been given to us, and I've read a lot, but I've looked at the television, the telescreen thingy here, and the story that's been given to us is the guy was calling someone. And then he was like, he posted on his Facebook, look how fast I'm going. And then he wrecked and 70 people died, and it was just stupid.
He's a maniac. The guy was a maniac, crazy engineer.
Exactly.
Well, the engineers on these trains don't do anything. They just sit there. And they are like the last resort. They can stop the train, but you can't go fast. You can't gun it. You can't. And I was thinking about that bull crap. Oh, look at the picture of my speedometer. Every time I'm on one of these high-speed rails and I see the thing, they always have a sign someplace on showing you how fast you're going. I always take a picture of it. I've taken about 10 pictures of these speeds. Oh, look at this. And we're doing 300 kilometers an hour or whatever. You click a picture of it. And so this blaming the engineer for this is ridiculous. And it turns out that what they're trying to do is blame the guy to take the pressure off the Spanish government. It's their fault because, in fact, this guy who I finally found the right clip, the guy who is a civil engineer in Spain, and he discusses what really goes on with these things. This wasn't a high-speed rail, by the way. It was a high-performance train, and it has the signaling. They decided for some reason, probably because they didn't have the money, they didn't want to put the signaling in near this town, and so this train was on a track. And these trains, by the way, the high performance trains are really cool because to train guys, because it actually can change gauges.
Oh, really? It can go to a whole different track. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. So, but
are you a train guy?
I like trains.
I have a friend.
I shoot pictures of trains. I like them.
The engineer at Z100 in New York, David Reeves. He actually released a CD, and it sold quite well, an audio CD of trains. And it was fascinating. And he went to train tracks all around the world, and he recorded in high fidelity trains.
Oh, I would actually like to have that disc.
I'll bet you can still find it. It was a bestseller. He made a lot of money. I think he retired. He's no longer an engineer at this radio station. Yeah, we get it. You like trains. Okay, what are we playing?
So anyway, now, so I'm going to play that, but before we do that, there's one thing I didn't, when I was doing the little research here, and I finally found a definitive guy, so I didn't have to do much more. I did hear one thing that I didn't know. Did you know that the Spanish high-speed system is is the biggest in Europe?
No, I did not know.
I didn't even think they had. This is the thing about Spain. They keep all this information away from us. When you visit the place, you go, what's going on here? Just play the Spanish high-speed rail factoid number. It's a short clip.
Well, it says number 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Play it.
Oh, factoid number 1 is what you just told me? Okay.
Its network, although still in progress today, carries some 23 million passengers per year along more than 3,000 kilometers of track at speeds averaging 222 kilometers per hour. The only country with a more extensive network is China. In spite of the economic crisis, Spain this year has inaugurated 2 new lines. In January, one joined Barcelona with Figueres at the French border, making international high-speed train travel possible with its neighbor all the way to Paris.
All right, can I get in here now? Can I lay some information on you, or do you have more to? I don't want to interrupt your flow.
Well, I do have the clip of the civil engineer who explains the problem and what caused the wreck.
What is that titled?
It's called High-Speed Rail Crash Summary.
I got civil engineer from that title. No problem. Here we go.
Conectamos ahora con Barcelona. From Barcelona, we're now joined by Ricard Riol, a civil engineer and chairman of the Association for the Promotion of Public Transport.
What news outlet was this taken from?
Euronews.
Oh, very good.
Hola, Ricard.
Hola, buenos días.
It is still too early to draw conclusions on the causes of the accident, but some of the circumstances are becoming more clear. The wrecked train was high performance, but not a high-speed AVE train. How is that different from a high-speed train?
All right, I got to interrupt because I want to come back to this exact point because your previous clip made more sense for what I have to say.
Okay, why don't you say what you're going to say, and then we can play a little more of this. This is a long clip. We don't have to play the whole thing. We can put it in the show notes for people to listen to. It's very, very interesting.
So they were talking about the connections from Spain all the way to France. In Europe, right now, there is a huge amount of business being done when it comes to rail and high-speed rail. And I can look at the Netherlands, and anyone who lives in the Netherlands knows that for the past 20 years, that it has been headlines about the high-speed rail, the Betuwe-lijn, which goes all the way to Germany. They've been ripping up, tearing down entire towns to get this high-speed rail going. Now they have, and every single piece of this is a scandal. It's billions of euros, and no one rides the frickin' trains. They have this the Vira, which is the high performance rail between Amsterdam and Rotterdam. Another scandal of epic proportions. The trains are wrong, the track is wrong, everything sucks. Billions are spent, and when you know that Spain has a bid out, a 16 billion euro bullet train. That Renfe, I think, is the outfit that was bidding on this, and there's a lot of companies. Siemens, I would say, is of course the number one. They are the ones that pretty much bankrupted and corrupted Greece with all of their rail, and it's not just high speed; it's high performance, it's everything. Part of the tender says that if your equipment has been in an accident, a serious accident, there's specifications, it's in the show notes. Within the last 5 years, you're ineligible for bidding. 16 billion euros. This is a huge, huge deal. And there's all kinds of bidding going on in Europe right now. I would not put it past any corporation, certainly Siemens, to sabotage something if possible. And I know it's conspiratorial thinking.
I like the theory, but I believe that most of the signaling, which is what caused the problem with this train,
this is a
Bombardier.
Siemens? Oh, Bombardier? Okay.
Bombardier built this train and with some other, it's a joint venture. And I don't think they're leaders in this area, but they have a bunch of nice trains. They're the ones that switch gauges, which would probably be useful in the Netherlands because you need a different gauge for high speed. And, have a train that's more versatile. Because what does it take? I think if 80-mile-an-hour train, which is a slow train, can get across Netherlands in, 22 minutes?
No,
5 minutes? I don't know.
It takes more. No, the trains are...
You can walk faster.
Look, all I know is there's a lot of contracts out there. A lot of contracts. This is huge money. By God, the California so-called high-speed rail, they've slipped in all kinds of new requirements. They've lowered the technical requirements so other companies can come in. No one is looking at this because people are like, rail, whatever. We don't really care. But there's no real journalism going on around this because it seems like old technology, and it's much more fun to talk about the iPhone iOS 7 or whatever. But I
agree.
There's some that's more fun.
It's a huge scandal. The cost of these lines.
Yeah, it's
which is
really
what caused
outrageous.
the economic collapse of 1847. For God's sake.
Thank you. That's exactly where I was going to take it, because when you brought up the 1847, which was the train bubble, really, that collapsed. It wasn't like all of a sudden people didn't want to take trains. It was a bubble, right? It was an over investment in rail, and exactly the same thing is happening, which is exactly the story of
by Ayn Rand.
That was a cheap way to go.
Yeah, but it's true.
Well, anyway, let me summarize. I want to put the long clip in the
you want to play a little
notes.
more? I'm happy to play a little bit more if you want.
Yeah,
to.
you can play a little more because it's somewhat educational. But actually, you can get to there's an interesting thing at the end that's I thought was more interesting because you won't get this far. I guarantee it. He calls he says these government inquiries are bull crap because they're done by the Transportation Authority, and they're never going to point the finger at themselves for not putting in the proper equipment. And he says it needs to be an independent study, but you can play some more.
Basically, its maximum speed is less than an AVE high-speed train, up to 250 kilometers an hour, and it can run on high-speed lines and on conventional tracks.
How could the train go into that particular section of track so close to the station at Compostela at 190 kilometers an hour?
Generally, that's not possible on a high-speed line such as Madrid-Barcelona or Madrid-Seville, but on that line it happens that trains entering Santiago de Compostela are not monitored permanently by the signalling system, they're only occasionally checked.
Is the system automatic?
It's an automatic system which only checks the train when it passes a detector on the track, whereas on a high-speed line the system is controlled continuously from a central position via radio, so that the train is never going faster than the authorized speed.
With that monitoring system, what happens when the train goes faster than it should do?
In a continuous monitoring system, as is the case with the European Rail Traffic Management System, as soon as a train goes even slightly faster than the maximum authorized speed, it's halted automatically.
All right, this is great. I want to play the rest of this, but I just want to point out that we have all this bull crap about hacking cars and hacking medical devices. No, we got to watch out for this. But not a single person has said, hey, maybe this train was hacked. No, it's just a crazy driver. Why is that, John? What is going on in our reporting or our society or our general thinking that that doesn't even come to mind? Why is that?
I think I wonder that myself. I mean, this thing seems to me to have been sabotaged or something, because if it's an on and off, you say there's incidental signaling spots that it goes by and then it has to make adjustments instead of being continuously monitored by the radio. All you have to do is just smash a couple of those, let the train get to whatever the speed is, and then never tell it to slow down, which would have been a sabotage. It could have been done in any number of ways. But it's like nobody blaming the engineer and showing pictures he's a hot rodder and
bring Facebook in there. Come on.
It's like doing all that is more. I don't know what's happened, but there's nobody wants to do the simplest bit of research. It took me less than a half an hour to find this clip of this guy. And even though I knew that there was something phony about the story, because there's no way these guys aren't, they don't have a steering wheel and a throttle and they're driving this thing.
They're not shoveling coal into the oven there.
And I would guess that he was on the phone because he was apparently on the phone. He had some paperwork in front of him. I'm guessing he knew this thing was not acting right, and he was on the phone because how else do you communicate anywhere? You get on the phone, you call central office on your cell phone, and you say, this train is not acting right, and I've got the plans here in front of me, and I can't slow it down.
And why do we have this audio of a so-called? I heard this today here on Euronews. There's some audio of a guy, apparently the engineer, going, I don't know why I did it. I don't know. I mean, this is very. All I know is that if you're on a 16 billion euro bid, that's worth killing some people over, because that's just a fact.
Well, because they don't care.
They do not care.
Whatever the case is, you can play the rest of it again.
I want to play it. This is good stuff.
That's what happens on all high-speed lines. This system, which also operates on this same line between Orense and Santiago.
You know why? Because no one is playing this stuff. There's not a I've not heard this anywhere. Where did you find this? Euronews again?
Yeah, it was a video on Euronews.
Very good. So someone is playing it, but no one watches Euronews except you.
Stops 3 or 4 kilometers before Santiago Station and is replaced by a system used on conventional lines. That high-speed system wasn't in place where the accident occurred.
Que se ha producido este accidente.
Do you think the curve where the crash happened could have been a factor in how serious this accident was? Is it normal to have such a curve on a high-speed line?
Es normal que haya esa curva en una línea de alta velocidad.
Bien, la curva se explica porque la línea se aproxima.
The curve exists because the line is approaching a populated area. There are high-speed lines with curves like that, precisely to bring trains close to where people want to get on. What's serious is that this curve is not protected by a system of continuous signalling, which monitors the train all the time, but only with occasional monitoring on the track. The problem is not the route, but perhaps the signalling system on the route. In fact, the safety system should be adaptable, flexible for any kind of route, because as well as straight lines for travelling fast, high-speed trains have to link up with the conventional network to get into towns. And so it's not about having routes that run in straight lines, but about having the line being safe from A to B.
Spanish rail management organizations have opened an investigation. Do you think this will be enough?
A su juicio, ¿será suficiente?
Creo que debe haber también una investigación independiente.
I think there must also be an independent investigation that does not depend on the Ministry of Public Works to be able to compare the results, learn from the mistakes that have caused this disaster, because railway accidents are rarely the result of one error, rather they're caused by consecutive errors.
I want to say something about this. In the Netherlands, the former Minister of Transportation, a guy named Camille Eurlings, who is, I think he's a northerner. I met him. Douchebag. He was the minister. Oh, no, come on, I can say this. You know, just one of these guys who just, politician, just wants to get ahead, and they're really elitist here because these guys all want to eventually wind up in Brussels, where the real power is. And he was the Minister of Transportation. He leaves. What job does he take? CEO of KLM.
Wow.
Yeah. He literally went from the people he was regulating to the top job at the company that he was regulating. And he's in the newspapers with his shit-eating grin on his face.
You would be too.
Yeah, of course, except I'm not smart enough. I'm sitting here in my underwear doing a podcast.
Sweating.
Mama's looking down on me. She's proud.
My poor boy.
Are you proud of me, Mom?
To this. And begging for money from the unappreciative audience.
Hey, she's sitting next to your mom who's saying the same thing.
No, my mother's saying, this cabbage is no good.
Oh, okay.
Okay, well, just take a break from this this dreadful discussion. Play SWAT teams at work.
Okay. The cabbage is no good. Start of the show.
This was the scene outside a home in Idaho Springs about a week ago when 2 counties worth of SWAT team officers were forced to evict a 63-year-old woman who refused to leave her foreclosed home. A captain with the Clear Creek County Sheriff's Department says he's never had to order a tactical team to evict someone, let alone a 63-year-old woman.
Is this a great country or what?
Yeah, 3. It wasn't 1. It was 3. They had 10 vans.
By the way,
10 vans.
Earlings was from the south, not from the north. I'm sorry. Okay, let me lay one on you. Dr. Oz has invented a new word, and of course he's promoting a product because people, Dr. Oz is shameful to the medical profession. I don't even know if he's a real doctor, but if he is, he should be disbarred or his light, whatever they do to doctors.
Disbarred.
Disbar him from the medical profession. All he is it's just promotion. He's promoting stuff. He's promoting the pharmaceutical industry. He's one big promotional machine, and people eat it up. And so he's come up with a new word that it's very disturbing.
Today I'm introducing you to a brand new word, diabesity.
Did you get it? Diabesity. Yeah. Let's learn about diabesity.
You may not have heard of it before, but 1 out of 2
we haven't heard of it, Dr. Oz, because it doesn't exist. You're making it up.
You has it. So what is it? It's a combination of 2 of the most deadly diseases that we face, diabetes and obesity. But my next guest says you have the power to reverse diabesity and to lose 20 pounds. And you can do it in just 6 weeks. Woo. Joining me is the author of The Blood Sugar Solution, Dr. Mark Hyman. Welcome back to the show.
So he comes up with diabesity, and 1 in 2, John, 1 in 2 Americans have it. Either you or I. Who has it? Do you have diabesity?
I must have overweight. I could lose 20 pounds.
But maybe I have diabesity. I don't know. I could be pre-diabetic.
You could be pre-diabesity.
Diabesity.
Yeah.
What is diabesity?
You know, diabetes is a big problem. Like you said, it affects every other American.
The guy uses the word.
Yeah, diabesity. Yeah.
Global problem.
Diabesity is a big problem.
Yeah, it's a big problem.
It's that little bit of belly fat to pre-diabetes to full-blown.
Oh, there it is. I have a little bit of belly fat, and I'm pre-diabetic.
Type 2 diabetes.
Pre-diabetes.
It's a huge problem. Anything that raises your blood sugar will cause this. And it's an epidemic out there. We need to focus on how do we sort this out.
It's an epidemic, John. It's like I am pre-masturbatory. I'm thinking about it. This is what it's come to. It's really quite bad.
Oh, I got one for you.
Oh boy.
So, who's the head of the military? He wears. Let me guess. He's a short Irishman. He wears a badge because nobody knows his name.
Yes, he has a name tag made out of Bakelite, and his name is Dempsey. Yes,
Dempsey. Okay, play the clip. This is the future of the military. Play Dempsey and the App Store.
Okay, hold on. Mm-hmm.
We call it, will deepen collaboration across the services and mission areas. It will also be more secure, helping ensure that the integrity of our battle systems prevail in the face of disruption.
Well, he has one of those hissing S's that's really annoying.
As part of this new joint information environment, we're building a secure 4G wireless network that will get iPads, iPhones, and Android devices online in 2014. In fact, I have here today with me a secure mobile phone and data processor.
A data processor? Ooh, what is that? Can I get me a data processor?
That allows
iPhone.
me...
Oh, that's an iPhone, sorry.
To operate an iPhone.
In the SIPR.
Wait a minute, he said data processor and he's holding up an iPhone?
Yeah, he's holding up an iPhone.
Environment, both phone and data, no matter where I am. Now, it's not where we need to be, where it needs to be yet, but it's an incredible first step and has the potential to revolutionize command and control. Woo. This phone, by the way, I think would make even Batman or James Bond a bit jealous.
Wait a minute. Wow. Gee. Oh, theater of the mind.
I did have to keep an eye on Peter as he stood up here glancing at it enviously. With tools like this, the smartphone generation joining our military will help us pioneer a new era of mobile command and control. This revolution will empower our greatest resource, that is, the ingenuity of our people, and the philosophy of mission command that we all embrace. To help unleash the potential for user-driven innovation, a federated app store will allow any DoD user to write and share phone and tablet applications. By using off-the-shelf technology.
Okay, now, I like this. This is fantastic. It's like he
idiotic.
It's like he went to the buzzword generator and is just spewing crap out.
They're going to have an app store, and the command and control is going to be on an iPhone. They're going to go, let's see, let me dial.
Wait a minute,
you know the general's number?
And we don't even.
What the commander's number? Do you have his number?
Hold on, I want to go back. He has something here.
It's on your phone.
Be quiet for a second.
Will allow any DoD.
He has said something here that does not exist. I want to hear it. Hold on.
DoD user to write and share phone and tablet applications by using off-the-shelf technology.
No, hold on. This is a PowerPoint. Someone sold him a bag of goods.
All embrace. To help unleash the potential for user-driven innovation, a federated app store.
Okay, a federated app store. Is he telling me now that Apple's apps and Android apps will be in a federated app store together? Is he seriously saying this?
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
I
think you're exactly right. He's got a PowerPoint presentation, the same thing he did with the cloud.
Yeah.
He's all in on the cloud. We're going to save all this money's going to be saved because of the cloud.
I want to hear more. I want to hear about
this. Military.
Yeah, the high performance data processor in the federated app store
will allow any DoD user to write and share phone and tablet applications.
Wow. Like I don't know, Words with Friends.
By using off-the-shelf
flashlight, the
flashlight technology, we're bringing the full force of the technology revolution into the classified environment. So what's an important next step? Let me talk about cyber legislation and diplomacy.
Oh, here it comes. I can smell the money.
Although we've made significant progress embracing cyber within the military, our nation's effort to protect our critical civilian infrastructure is lagging. Yeah. Too few companies have invested adequately in cybersecurity. I worry that adversaries will seek to exploit that chink in our nation's.
Hey, who are you calling chink?
Whoa!
Who's he calling? Hey, that's not okay, Dempsey.
To them, our economy and our infrastructure are the softer targets.
He literally, wait a minute. He says chink, and then he says to them.
In our nation's armor.
Let me listen. That's outrageous. He just called the Chinese chinks.
Few companies have invested adequately in cybersecurity. I worry that adversaries will seek to exploit that chink in our nation's armor. To them, our economy...
He's literally saying, that chink, hey, to them, the chinks...
And our infrastructure are the softer targets than our military.
Wow. You know what?
There's more of them on you.
Now, you know what? Doesn't happen often.
You want to hear the real...
It doesn't happen often, but I'm going to give this to you as well. It's a double shot.
No.
Yeah. To hear the boss...
Not close.
Yes, to hear the boss of the entire armed forces talk about a federated app store so that users of the DoD... By the way, I consider myself as an American citizen to be a user of the DoD... can now use Android and iPhone data processing apps cross-platform at any moment in the day so that the chinks can't get to us is clip of the day worthy, John. I'm sorry. It's good. It's valid.
Okay, well, I'll take it. I'm not going to refuse it. So let's play Dempsey describing the importance of this new cyber command and how it's going to become a very important part of the military. They should spin it off.
The nation from cyber attacks. To do this, we're integrating the cyber mission across the force, and we're adding personnel to the United States Cyber Command. Over the next 4 years, 4,000 cyber operators will join the ranks. Woo. We're also investing $23 billion in cybersecurity. And we're doing all of this not...
How much?
23 billion? Billion?
We should be able to get at least $500 million of that. Just for coming up with better... Can we... at least let us write your PowerPoints, man. We can do something. The Curry Dvorak Consulting Group is good. We're good.
$23 billion for what?
For a federated app store.
Security. And we're doing all of this not to address run-of-the-mill cyber intrusions, but to stop potential attacks of significant consequence.
Okay, what is a run-of-the-mill cyber intrusion? What is that? Thank you. No one knows.
Those that could threaten life, limb, and the country's core critical infrastructure.
Okay, so it's run-of-the-mill unless it threatens life, limb,
or the critical infrastructure.
So a limb is a finger, or is that a limb only arms and legs?
To me, it's arms and legs.
Right. Okay. So if it threatens an arm anywhere, then it's critical. All right.
Yeah, you have to up the ante on.
Yeah.
Command, 3 kinds of teams will operate around the clock. National mission teams will counter adversary cyber attacks on our country. A second and larger set of teams will support our combatant commanders as they execute our military missions around the globe. And the largest set of teams will operate and defend the networks that support our military operations worldwide. These 3 teams constitute the cyber force that will defend our networks, defend military forces, and be prepared, if asked, to defend the nation.
What does that mean?
It means they're spending a bunch of money.
Attention.
And they've got the public buffaloed. What are they talking about?
You've been called to task to defend the nation because the chinks are coming to get us on the networks. Just turn the computer off.
Turn the computer off.
Just turn it off, man. Well, let me finish this. This is good, John.
Our most immediate priority...
where was this? What was the occasion of this incredible snow job of a bullcrap, lying, money-stealing, grubbing, leprechaun-jumping shite-fest?
I believe this was at Brookings.
Jeez. Is keeping the .mil domain secure.
Oh, the .mil domain has to be... He doesn't even know what he's talking about. It's to say that. You're just dumb.
Must secure the .mil domain.
.mil has to be secure. Hello. We're calling you to task. The .mil domain is under attack.
But in the event of a domestic cyber crisis, our cyber forces will work in support of the Department of Homeland Security and the FBI, who lead our nation's response in the .gov and the .com domains.
Oh, they're out there protecting us, John. In case the .com domain is under attack.
Yeah.
The Cyber Command, the $23 billion firewall will be there.
To ensure this force is able to operate at network speed.
Network speed? What does that mean? What is network speed? Is that 20 megabits?
Different than swivel chair speed is what he says.
Rather than what is often called swivel chair speed.
Oh, my God. Write that down. Title.
We now have a playbook for cyber.
Oh,
the president signed a directive.
Does he even know that when you talk to someone, you say, let's go cyber, it means cyber sexing? And does he know that when he says, we have a playbook for cyber?
Maybe he does. Maybe this is all coded messages.
Maybe.
Codifies how each part of the government will respond in the event of a serious cyber attack. Under this directive, the Department of Defense has developed emergency procedures to guide our response to imminent significant cyber threats. We're updating our rules of engagement, the first update for cyber in 7 years, by the way, and we're improving command and control of our cyber forces. We have more work to do, but these important steps significantly strengthen our ability to defend the nation at network speed.
You should be court-martialed. In fact, I call for a citizen court-martial. Can I do that? Is there a citizen court-martial? Can we do that? Can you believe that this is taking place while all that the news is reporting is on some guy who showed his passport and is now in Russia? Woo! He's in Russia. And this is this. And by the way, didn't he just give away all the secrets? Didn't he just tell the enemy? Did he not aid the enemy by telling the enemy that
Wanton Publishing
will be working. Yes, we'll be working at network speed. I mean, if I were a hacker, I'm like, oh, network speed, okay. And he's told them we're going to have a federated app store, and that is treasonous.
It's ridiculous. This, if anybody thinks that these guys, by the way, these generals, 4-star generals, you don't think they're surfing the internet. They have secretaries for everything. Get my coffee, get my jacket, get my appointment calendar, send a note, do this, do that.
Scratch my balls.
He has no idea what he's talking about.
Hey, okay, here's an idea. I've got a great idea. Sysadmins, LAMP, PHP, Ruby on Rails, all you guys out there, and you're in our audience. Put together a package, okay, and call it the Network Speed Control and Command Cyber Defense Force Package in a Suitcase, and we'll write the PowerPoint, and we'll go make $500 million. We can sell this. This is dumb. This is so dumb.
Yeah, we'll cut you guys in.
Yeah, no,
everybody will be in on the action.
Everyone can contribute to this project. We just got to start a project on GitHub, okay, and make it installable, whatever it is. Make it an appify it, gamify it, systemography gamify it. Yeah, we should write this PowerPoint, John. We can do this. We feel that by gamifying the federated app store of Android and iPhone data processors, the control and command of the network speed, not swivel chair speed, will be able to protect the critical infrastructure, which will protect life, limb, and critical infrastructure. .com hookers. We should do this.
That's about right.
Except for the hooker part.
We could walk from this job if we got one of these contracts. And we could do the same amount of bull crap and anyone else can. We could write code.
Why don't we 10 print equals
print
20 go to 10.
Hopefully it's not going to be written in BASIC.
That's our code. Hey, I got a lot of stuff that we're going to do that we're just going to have to keep and carry over for a Sunday show. I've had a big Adams email segment. What?
Okay.
Did you want to close up with something?
I wanted to say something. It's important.
Okay.
Before you kill the show, I want you to put this in your mind. You're going to have to buy at the duty free. I'm going to get a little lecture here. The duty-free store, buy at least one, maybe a couple of Chanel No. 5s.
Okay, why?
Well, it looks like your buddies in the EU, they're going to ban one of the substances that's in Chanel No. 5.
And is that fetus water?
Something that's going to kill you, apparently. If you've been using Chanel No. 5, you're probably close to your deathbed.
I got to cut back.
So they're going to ban it. So you want to get a couple bottles. Or a bottle or something, but get the perfume and then just save it, and then it'll be a great gift to some Chanel No. 5 person sometime in the future when it doesn't smell the same. And just for a reminder for people out there, in Europe, the formulations for these perfumes, the better ones, all use ethanol as the base alcohol, whereas in perfume there shouldn't be any alcohol at all, but in the eau de toilette and the rest, it's all use ethanol. In the United States, it's against the law, because apparently they're afraid that kids will know there's ethanol in there, and so they'll spend $150 for a bottle of perfume and then drink it. So we use denatured alcohol, which will make you sick, but it also changes the smell. So you always want to buy your perfumes in Europe.
Another handy travel tip from the No Agenda Show. Wow,
it'll be in the travel book.
That will be in the travel website. That's right. Okay, so yeah, there's tons of stuff that is still left over. I really do have some great Adams email we just didn't get to today. We're already almost 3 hours in. Please, everybody, after the live stream, stick around. Those of you who are recording backups, wait until I give the all clear. Make sure we have a recording. And also, I've got some pretty good information on what's happening with the Clintons for Sunday's show. So please support us, Dvorak.org/NA. We are putting the work in. We hope you appreciate the value. I don't think you're getting much of this anywhere else. I certainly haven't found it, because if it was,
then I'm getting any of it.
Yeah. I'm getting it from you. And you're getting it from me.
I'm nailing it.
Yeah, you're nailing it, buddy.
Some old stuff about Marx.
Yeah, that guy. Coming to you from the 4th floor, right above the secondhand bookstore in the heart of Amsterdam, Gitmo Nation Lowlands. In the morning, I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where I remain, and it's still overcast, I'm John C. Dvorak.
We'll be back on Sunday right here on No Agenda.
The best podcast in the universe. Dvorak.org/NA